Chapter 1241, Killing one by one in the air. Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword was dazzling while the earth and sky were falling apart. Everybody raised their heads and looked at that sword. It made them shake violently. Their souls felt like they were going to be kicked out of their bodies. What kind of sword was that? Mr. Wen and the others were also holding their swords. An emperor's sword. Mr. Wen saw those sword energies and instantly recognized that as an emperor's sword. How could Lin Feng have such a sword? The older Zun cultivators raised their heads and looked at that sword. Such a sword could kill them, and Lin Feng was the one who had unsheathed it. The members of the Qi clan weren't laughing anymore. Their facial expressions changed drastically and their faces turned deathly pale. How's that possible? Thought Qi Tiansheng, who was still healing. He was fixedly staring at that sword in the sky. He had sensed such energies only once in his life, when the emperor of his clan had released his own energies. Qi Jiao's mouth was wide open. She was dumbstruck. The strong cultivators from Tianlong Divine Castle, the medium-level assassin of the Zun Qi layer and Bai Qiu Luo raised their heads at the same time. Their faces also turned deathly pale. "Come back," said Lin Feng. The dazzling sword moved towards Lin Feng's hand and he grabbed it. He can control it. The crowd was astonished. Lin Feng could control that sword. Maybe the emperors of Tiantai gave it to Lin Feng, thought the crowd. How could the emperors of Tiantai give such a sword to Lin Feng? Jiang, young master. At that moment, someone recalled that Lin Feng was also Jiang's young master. However, how had he become Jiang's young master? Was it because of that sword? That sword could possibly be Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword. Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword. Many people thought of the same thing at the same time. 5,000 years ago, such a sword had shown up, Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword. Many people looked at the three medium-level cultivators who were surrounding Lin Feng. The crowd was excited, for he was going to kill all the cultivators who wanted to kill him. As expected, Lin Feng smiled evilly. He looked at the medium-level Zun cultivators from the Qi clan. Medium-level Zun cultivators, how majestic. The strongest young man of your clan lost against me. Then you came out and said I wanted to die. You're a cultivator of the 5th Zun Qi layer and you attacked me, a cultivator of the Tian Qi layer. How incredible, said Lin Feng, walking towards the Zun cultivator. If you offend the Qi clan, you will regret it. You cannot imagine what an imperial clan is like, said the Zun cultivator, threatening Lin Feng. Lin Feng suddenly cut off that cultivator's right hand and blood splashed. He didn't even have time to react. His face turned deathly pale. Offended the Qi clan? I thought I had offended it already since you attacked me a moment before. You sounded arrogant, but don't you think you're ridiculous? Said Lin Feng. Even with that sword, if you offend the Qi clan, you'll die in any case, said that cultivator furiously. His voice rolled in waves and influenced Lin Feng's determination. Lin Feng replied with his sword and cut off the man's other arm. Lin Feng knew that his enemy was trying to make him change his mind using his voice. Continue, said Lin Feng, fixedly staring at that strong cultivator. Lin Feng's facial expression looked evil. Die, shouted that strong cultivator furiously. He disappeared from where he was, and at the same time, Lin Feng moved again and released thunderous energies. That medium-level Zun cultivator's body immediately exploded and he was dead. Lin Feng slowly turned around and looked at the strong cultivator of Tianlong Divine Castle. He pulled a long face. Long Tang and I had a normal fight, but you shameless got involved. Since you dared attack me again, die, said Lin Feng. He raised his sword again. That cultivator wanted to escape, but how could he be faster than Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword? The sword immediately lacerated him and he died. That sword is terrifying, it's just a game for him. Those Zun cultivators were astonished, especially Mr. Chu, his mouth was twitching. If he had offended Lin Feng before, Lin Feng would have killed him easily. What was a cultivator of the Tian Qi layer doing with an emperor's sword? Nobody understood. Bzzz. A beam of light moved towards the other medium-level Zun cultivator. He wanted to escape, but he couldn't. He was lacerated too and his corpse fell down from the sky. Bai Qiu Luo was shaking, he was scared to death. He had tried to kill Lin Feng and Qiu Yuxian, what could he do now? Lin Feng turned around and looked at him. We gave you the opportunity to fight fairly, but you refused. Since it's that way, let's stop playing. Die. Bai Qiu Luo's face turned deathly pale. Lin Feng said, I know that you work with the Imperial Assassin Union, but whether you're with them or with the Sunset Pavilion, today, you'll die. Sword lights moved towards Bai Qiu Luo and he collapsed. Bai Qiu Luo, one of the 10 strongest young cultivators of the province, had been killed by Lin Feng. Everybody knew that Lin Feng would amaze the whole province soon. Lin Feng looked at Qi Tiansheng and the others, their hearts were pounding. Lin Feng had killed Bai Qiu Luo, would he kill Qi Tiansheng now? In any case, the Qi clan was now Lin Feng's enemy, many cultivators from the Qi clan would want to kill him in the future. Lin Feng, think about the consequences before acting. Another medium-level Zun cultivator of the Qi clan appeared next to Qi Tiansheng. If I didn't have that sword, I'd already be dead. What could be worse than that? Lin Feng glanced at him coldly. He slowly walked towards Qi Tiansheng and Qi Tiansheng looked distressed. Mr. Wen, that strong cultivator looked at Mr. Wen in the distance and called him. Only Mr. Wen could stop Lin Feng. Mister, no need to talk about all that's happened. Everybody knows that I defeated Qi Tiansheng and that the Qi clan protected him, they even tried to kill me. Medium-level Zun cultivators attacked me, everybody saw that, nobody tried to prevent them from attacking me though, said Lin Feng indifferently. When people sin, they can only blame themselves. Qi Tiansheng could only blame himself, the strong cultivators of his clan had protected him, but he had made too many mistakes. Mr. Wen remained silent, he didn't say anything. The strong cultivators of the Qi clan were astonished. Lin Feng, Qi Tiansheng is of the 5th generation of the Qi clan, he's really an emperor's descendant. If you kill him, you'll interrupt the imperial blood lineage, are you ready to bear such responsibility? Shouted a strong cultivator furiously. Would Lin Feng dare interrupt an imperial lineage? Chapter 1242, Lacerate, Imperial Blood Lineage, said Lin Feng. He glanced at that person and said, what about you? Do you have imperial blood? How noisy. Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword streaked across the sky and moved towards that cultivator's third eye with incomprehensible speed. That cultivator had no chance to dodge. That cultivator's face suddenly looked petrified as Lin Feng destroyed his godly awareness. Qi Tiansheng was soaked in a cold sweat. I can't die, thought Qi Tiansheng suddenly, though, his face was deathly pale. He had imperial blood. He had such a bright future, he was one of the 10 strongest young cultivators of the province. And now someone like Lin Feng was going to kill him. Kill him, shouted Qi Tiansheng furiously. Lin Feng was stupefied, to whom was Qi Tiansheng talking? Lin Feng released threads of soul, he suddenly turned around and moved towards his sword. Boom boom. Lin Feng saw a silhouette flicker. He rose up in the air and used the Emperor's sword again. Destroy. Slash, 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 that strong cultivator moved back and forth, it seemed like he was going in and out of an empty space. It was as if he could escape as he wished. Ah, a horrible shriek spread in the air. The sword lights ended up cutting that cultivator in half. Kaboom, sword energies exploded and horrible shrieks spread in the air. What a terrifying sword, Lin Feng actually doesn't need to control it, he just has to communicate with it using telepathy and it obeys, thought the crowd. Who had given Lin Feng such a sword? And who was that assassin in the empty space? That emperor's sword hadn't killed him in one strike. Qi Tiansheng is such an idiot, thought the crowd. Qi Tiansheng's face was deathly pale. An assassin had been hiding and Qi Tiansheng had called him out loud. At the same time, he had warned Lin Feng someone was hiding. Otherwise, Lin Feng might not have noticed him. "Humph, the Qi clan is really cruel," said Mr. Wen. A strong cultivator had been hiding in the dark. What did that mean? And who were those people who had attacked the Wen clan? What a powerful spell! Lin Feng turned and looked at Qi Tiansheng. Many people started running away. They know they couldn't resist Lin Feng's sword. "Little boy, did you hear me?" said that Zun cultivator. He used his blood to make the lower part of his body grow again. It wasn't easy to heal such terrifying injuries, but it was possible. Lin Feng turned around and looked at him. "You're talented. You have a bright future, you could become an emperor, but first you have to survive. Qi Tiansheng has imperial blood, but if you kill him, the Qi clan can destroy you," said that Zun cultivator calmly. He was threatening Lin Feng. Lin Feng could become an emperor, but if he killed Qi Tiansheng he would lose all chances to become one. Lin Feng raised his sword. He didn't look at that Zun cultivator at all, he just looked at Qi Tiansheng. "I wouldn't be worth anything if I didn't dare kill those who want to kill me. If I didn't kill my enemies, how could I ever pretend that I wanted to become an emperor," said Lin Feng. In any case, even if he didn't kill Qi Tiansheng, would the Qi clan release him? The only difference would be that stronger cultivator would find him next time. Think carefully, if you kill Qi Tiansheng, even if you don't die, your friends, your family, they will all die. As soon as he finished talking, Lin Feng attacked with his sword. "No!" shouted Qi Tiansheng furiously. His face was deathly pale like a sheet of paper and he closed his eyes. However, he realized he didn't die, only one of his arms was cut. He opened his eyes and looked at Lin Feng and Lin Feng looked back at him. He felt like a buffoon. "How dare you!" shouted a Zun cultivator. Lin Feng raised his sword again. Would Lin Feng dare kill Qi Tiansheng or not? "You dare threaten my family and friends to threaten me?" Lin Feng slowly walked forwards. Everybody was focused on Lin Feng's sword. "Try and kill me if you dare," said Qi Tiansheng fixedly staring at Lin Feng. "All right, then I'll do it now." The atmosphere was instantly lacerated. Qi Tiansheng released energies to protect himself, but he didn't have to react as the lights from the Emperor's sword surrounded him and swallowed him. The crowd saw Qi Tiansheng's body disappear. No matter what everybody had said to Lin Feng, he didn't care. He destroyed Qi Tiansheng. "He's insane," the crowd looked at Lin Feng. He looked heroic, he dared kill an imperial descendant. Lin Feng would need to be careful in the future. Lin Feng started picking up the loot from Qi Tiansheng and the Zun cultivators' bodies. He would become even richer this time. He had killed 4 medium-level Zun cultivators and Qi Tiansheng and Bai Qiu Luo, 2 of the 10 strongest young cultivators of the province. He had also killed a dozen low-level Zun cultivators. Abstruse tablets, abstruse crystals, skills, special techniques, holy mark strength, holy weapons, anything. "Brother," shouted Qi Jiao Jiao. Her face was deathly pale, it was all her fault. If she hadn't acted like a little girl, her brother wouldn't have had any issues with Lin Feng. Lin Feng narrowed his eyes and looked at her. He then walked towards her. "Lin Feng," shouted a Zun cultivator in the air. Lin Feng had killed Qi Tiansheng, wasn't that enough? Did he want to kill Qi Tiansheng too? "Don't forget that you're the Emperor's direct disciples," shouted the Zun cultivator in a cold way. Lin Feng glanced at him and said, "You're the most ridiculous joke of the day." Everybody looked at the Zun cultivator that Lin Feng was making fun of. Lin Feng was using those people as stepping stones. Of course, thank you for reminding me that you got involved too, otherwise, I would have just killed Qi Tiansheng. I had almost forgotten how shameless you are. Since it's that way, I'll help you take care of that girl, said Lin Feng. He put his sword on Qi Jiao Jiao's throat. They had threatened his family and friends. And some people were apparently teleporting to Shuiyu. He had no choice but to take a hostage. Qi Jiao Jiao was the jewel of the Qi clan, it was a good way to threaten them. Qi Jiao Jiao's face was red, her eyes were bloodshot. Lin Feng didn't care, he just said, there's no need to look at me that way. Who forced me to do all these things? Everybody knew that after Lin Feng defeated Qi Tiansheng, the Qi clan sent extremely strong cultivators to deal with Lin Feng. Everything was the Qi clan's fault. Chapter 1243, Worrying, Sword, said Lin Feng. His Tianji sword emitted whistling sounds. Lin Feng just had to tell his sword to slit Qi Jiao Jiao's throat and it would. Don't move, otherwise you'll die, said Lin Feng. He rose up in the air and looked at one of the older Zun cultivators. He was fixedly staring at him, he looked furious. However, Lin Feng had the Emperor's sword, so what could they do? Could Lin Feng kill him? You will regret, said that older Zun cultivator in a cold way. He ran towards an empty space to teleport himself. You threaten my friends and family, do you think I'll let you off? Asked Lin Feng. Kill him. Bzzz. When Lin Feng said that, the Emperor's sword moved towards the empty space. Sword Qi dashed to the skies and a horrible shriek sounded. Very quickly, the Emperor's sword came back to Lin Feng. Lin Feng had had to use it, but now some people would probably want to steal the sword. They'd have to think carefully before trying though. Everybody would be astonished in Ba Huang if they knew what had just happened, thought the crowd. Lin Feng had taken out an emperor's sword and he had killed 2 of the 10 strongest young cultivators of the province. He had also killed 4 medium-level Zun cultivators, a dozen low-level Zun cultivators, even an older Zun cultivator. Nobody could block Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword. Lin Feng turned around and looked at the remaining guards of the Qi clan. They all started shivering. Older Zun cultivators couldn't escape, so what hope did they have? Go back to your clan and tell them that if they want to get their revenge, they'll have to prepare themselves well. I will take care of Qi Jiao Jiao for now. If you want to attack my friends and family members, I'll show you how I take care of one of the 4 most beautiful girls in the province. Those people were all furious. Piss off now, said Lin Feng. Their silhouettes flickered and they left. They couldn't do anything for Qi Jiao Jiao anymore. Lin Feng was insane. Lin Feng turned around and looked at Mr. Wen. He looked embarrassed as he said, I'm sorry, Mr. Wen. I caused you trouble. Mr. Wen smiled and shook his head, no problem, if you hadn't been here, the older Zun cultivators of the Qi clan wouldn't have appeared. I didn't even know they were here today. Thank you very much, Mr. I'm leaving now, said Lin Feng. He bowed before Mr. Wen and left. He kept Qi Jiao Jiao as a hostage and Qiu Yu Xian followed him as well. His sword whistled and streaked across the sky. There were some older Zun cultivators who had lived for many years. Lin Feng couldn't stay too long after showing them Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword. If Lin Feng hadn't been careful while dealing with the older Zun cultivators of the Qi clan, he could have lost it or he could have died. People sighed when they watched Lin Feng leave. Lin Feng could now be considered a beast, as one of the 10 strongest cultivators of the province. After all, he had shown how strong he was when he defeated Qi Tiansheng. Mr. Wen's clan gazed into the distance in the direction of northern Ba Huang. Even more strong cultivators were rising there. It was like the past when Ho Qing Lin had become one of the 10 strongest young cultivators of the province. Now, he was a medium-level Zun cultivators and was soon going to be at the top of the Zun Qi layer. Now, with Qiu Yu Xian and Lin Feng, what would Tiantai look like 10 years from now? Tian Gu, according to the diviner's predictions and Lin Feng's strength, Lin Feng is extraordinary. You should be friends with him, but don't get too close. Of course, that's just a suggestion, you're free to make your own decisions, said Mr. Wen, looking at Wen Tiangu in a deep and profound way. Wen Tiangu nodded. He understood. Lin Feng and Qiu Yu Xin were riding his sword, flying towards Sword City. Lin Feng had already used Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword once, so he still had 2 more chances to use it. Nobody else knew that he could only use it 3 times though, otherwise the consequences would be scary. In the Tian Su teleportation portal, Lin Feng had seen the Yunhai sect of Xueyu. Soon, the Wen clan would show why so many strong cultivators from the Wen clan had gone to the Yunhai mountain range. They had a specific goal. Lin Feng couldn't know what exactly, but he understood that something was going to happen in Xueyu, so he had to go back. For a place like the Ba Huang province, Xueyu was tiny. Tian Su town was even larger than Xueyu itself. Of course, he didn't have to worry too much either. The Wen clan hadn't said why they needed to go there, and the other groups of influence didn't have teleportation portals powerful enough to go there. Besides, Yan Di had cast a protection spell in Xueyu, so Zun cultivators couldn't attack that easily. Lin Feng had also given his parents precious treasures. I wonder how everyone's doing, thought Lin Feng, smiling. Father, mother, Xin Yi, they should be alright. Lu Fei and Xiaoye should be growing up. And Jing Yun, Yi Shui and Yun Shi, what are they doing? Are they alright? What about Pejun and Ba Dao? And Mr. Qi and Mr. Hua? How strong have they become? What about Yu Qing Shan? Lin Feng was thinking about all those people. In the cruel cultivation world, it was good to have people to care about. A year before, he was still a boy, he was chased by people, and now he was able to kill low-level Zun cultivators. Those cultivators were considered legendary in Xueyu. Everything felt like a dream. Chapter 1244, Going Back. News spread quickly in Ba Huang. Everybody already knew what had happened on Mr. Wen's birthday. Sword City and Tian Su Town were both towns in central Ba Huang, so news spread quickly. In a small bar of Sword City, everybody was already talking about the images diffused in Tian Su Town and Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword. The Wen clan had activated the teleportation portal to send strong cultivators to other places, maybe there were precious treasures there. More news spread in the region. Lin Feng had become Jiang's young master and he could control Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword. Many people thought that there was something secret going on between Lin Feng and Jiang. What kind of secret though? In any case, he had been able to kill older Zun cultivators with that sword, and he had also killed by Qiu Luo and Qi Tiansheng, who had an imperial heritage. Even Jiang was surprised. Since the sword had taken control of Lin Feng, it did whatever it wished. It was no wonder that the sword didn't want them to follow. It could do anything it wanted. Besides, the Emperor's sword had defeated Qi Tiansheng, but so what? It had to go abroad and kill even more people, it had to bring back glory to Jiang. Lin Feng arrived outside of Jiang. He didn't go in, but some strong cultivators from Jiang came out and bowed before him. "Young master, please come in," said the old man leading the group. He was a terrifying older Zun sword cultivator. "No need, I came to ask you something," said Lin Feng calmly yet aggressively. He had to be arrogant and aggressive in front of them, because to them he wasn't Lin Feng, he was Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword. "Please tell us, young master," said the leader. "I will give you some geographical coordinates. It is in the Xueyu region, in a country called Xueyu. The Wen clan is going there. Send some of the strongest cultivators there, but be discreet, don't attract other people's attention. Once there, unless I give you the order to do so or unless your life is in danger, don't kill anyone." The Zun cultivator's eyes were twinkling. He understood what Lin Feng was saying, but he didn't know what Lin Feng's motives were. Besides, how did he know what the place of the apparition was? Young master, I understand, even though he had so many questions, he didn't question anything he was told. I'll transmit the geographical coordinates and map through your godly awareness, said Lin Feng indifferently. His godly awareness turned into a small sword and he transmitted those things to the old man's third eye. He had obtained a map of Shandong in the past and on that map was Ba Huang Province. However, on maps made in Ba Huang Province, there weren't places like Ganyu or Shuiyu for they were too small. With Lin Feng's transmissions, the strong cultivators of Jiang'e would easily be able to find Shuiyu. Alright, hurry up and go. And wait for my instructions once you're there, said Lin Feng. Then, he rose up in the air flew towards northern Ba Huang. Before going back to Shuiyu, he had to go back to northern Ba Huang and then cross the Huang Sea. Uxian, I'm going far away, to my homeland, are you coming with me or staying here, asked Lin Feng. Qiu Uxian's eyes twinkled and she said, I'll stay here, I'll go back to the Qiu clan. Alright, stay with your parents so that your merciless and emotionless side doesn't take control of your body. And don't practice mercilessness cultivation anymore, said Lin Feng smiling in a gentle way. He was caressing her cheeks while talking to her. Going to Shuiyu wasn't something easily done, it took time for they had to cross the Huang Sea. Besides, there would probably be many strong cultivators in Shuiyu. She would be better off with her parents in a loving and stable environment. Lin Feng took her back to the Qiu clan and then went to Tiantai. Lin Feng arrived in Tiantai, opened the gate at the top of the flight of stairs and sensed some pleasant celestial qi which was also quite cold. In the sky above the palaces, there were dazzling marks which could help cultivators practice cultivation faster. Meng Qing was in his palace, sitting cross-legged in a golden lotus. It kept changing, reminding people of the impermanence of life. Meng Qing has reached a crucial point of her cultivation, thought Lin Feng. Meng Qing was about to break through to the Zun Qi layer. He looked at her and smiled warmly. He slowly walked out of the palace and closed the door behind him. Maybe that when I come back from Shuiyu, she will have broken through to the Zun Qi layer, thought Lin Feng smiling. He really wanted to wake her up and talk to her. Everything she was doing was for him, so Lin Feng loved her more than anything. When I'm done in Shuiyu, I'll come back, whispered Lin Feng. Then, he rose up in the air and jumped onto his sword. Qi Jiao Jiao was on the sword still, but she didn't say anything. She was always staring at Lin Feng in a cold way, but Lin Feng ignored her. Qi Jiao Jiao posed no threat to him because she wasn't strong enough. Shuiyu, so you're from Shuiyu. Your friends and family members must be there too, said Qi Jiao Jiao. Lin Feng glanced at her calmly and serenely before saying, what do you want to say? You're taking me there, but you don't dare kill me. If you killed me, the Qi clan would immediately know about it. But if you take me there, I will know all your secrets, where your friends and family members are, you will regret it, said Qi Jiao Jiao threatening him. Lin Feng smiled in a resplendent way, he looked extremely amused as he said, do you think you will ever have the opportunity to leave me? Lin Feng was insane. Did he want to keep her with him their entire life? Qi Jiao Jiao's thoughts were chaotic. She couldn't imagine being an enemy's prisoner for dozens or even hundreds of years. After I destroy your clan, you'll stay with me to take care of me, said Lin Feng indifferently. Qi Jiao Jiao looked at him furiously. Take care of him? Of course, if you don't like that, I have some animal cages that I can put you inside of instead. Qi Jiao Jiao looked at him with the utmost hatred, an animal cage. Chapter 1245, Tian Qi Snowy Peaks. Qi Jiao Jiao was surprised when they arrived above the Huang Sea. She had thought Lin Feng would use a boat, but no, he stayed on his sword and the desolate Qi assaulted them. Qi Jiao Jiao looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng was calmly sitting on his sword and absorbing desolate Qi. He was even using it to practice cultivation. Go inside, said Lin Feng, taking out a golden tower. That was Qi Tianxing's golden tower, but he owned it now. No need, said Qi Jiao Jiao in a cold way. I'm going under the water. If you're not afraid to die, then you can come with me, said Lin Feng indifferently. Qi Jiao Jiao was stupefied. Underwater? Do you think I believe you, said Qi Jiao Jiao. Then, Lin Feng's sword descended from the sky. Her face suddenly became deathly pale. She hastily went inside the tower. Slash, his sword dived into the sea. The golden tower was still on the sword, so Qi Jiao Jiao was looking out of the window and could see everything clearly. Lin Feng was really under the water. He was swallowing the desolate qi. Surprisingly, some people can even use desolate qi to practice cultivation. Qi Jiao Jiao was incredulous. Poor her. Because of her social status, she had always thought she was amazing, but she had never really tried to understand who Lin Feng was because she had always believed she was better than him. Of course, having remorse was useless now. The Qi clan and Lin Feng were now enemies. They had threatened his family and friends, so Lin Feng couldn't let her off. He would maybe let her off someday, but only after destroying her clan though. Qi Jiao Jiao had never left Ba Huang province, for it was a vast province. After crossing the sea, they soon saw land again. Castles, palaces, mountain range, but they were moving with incredible speed, so Qi Jiao Jiao couldn't see the landscapes clearly. The sun was rising, rising and setting again. Many people saw Lin Feng in the sky and his terrifying sword. Lin Feng was calmly practicing cultivation on his sword. Unconsciously, he traveled for 20 days before he began to recognize the landscapes. Lin Feng soon arrived in Ganyu. It made him remember Tianqi. Without Tianqi, Lin Feng would have never become who he was today. Tianqi was vast and snowflakes were floating in the air. In the Tianqi Empire, many young men who lived at the foot of the mountains could only dream of going to the holy part of Tianqi and become a disciple there. Tianqi was rising as there were more and more Zun cultivators appearing there. There was a legend in Tiantai that a few years before, a genius had risen, and thanks to him, Tianqi had started rising again. Before he left, he had cast a protection spell on 6 of the snowy peaks of Tianqi and had turned them into holy places. Then, Lin Feng had set the Xiaoyao sect on fire and everybody had made fun of them in the Ganyu region. Now, the influential groups of Ganyu had continued joining hands to attack Tianqi. They took every opportunity they could to kill Tianqi's disciples. However, Tianqi was becoming too strong. I wonder where Lin Feng is now, thought some people in the valleys of the Tianqi Empire. Boom boom boom, a sonic boom sounded as a strong wind blew by. Sword lights appeared and incredible qi rolled in the air. What a scary sword, thought many people inside the valleys of the Tianqi Empire. They hadn't even seen the sword clearly, it was too fast. What a handsome young man. At that moment, someone noticed a young man riding the sword. That young man glanced at the people in the valleys and smiled indifferently. Then, he put his sword away and descended from the sky. Nobody can go to the holy place of Tianqi as they wish. 2 young men immediately rose up in the air and blocked Lin Feng. However, they sensed a wind brush against their skin and the young man disappeared. They were both astonished. "Let's go, we need to inform the masters," said one of the young men. And then they left. At the peak of Tianxian, Mr. Bai had been practicing cultivation for a long time now. He was outside a palace, wearing his snowy robe and smiling. 2 disciples had come back, a girl and a boy. The boy looked handsome and the girl looked pure and holy like snow. One of them was Han Qiu and the other was the former holy girl of Tianqi, Tianqi Shui. "You've been away for a few years. Now Han Qiu and you are a couple, nice," said Mr. Bai. Han Qiu and Tianqi Shui used to be very talented disciples in Tianqi then. Lin Feng and his friends had joined Tianqi and surpassed them. After all that they had gone traveling. You've already broken through to the 6th Tian Qi layer, not bad, you'll break through to the Zun Qi layer sooner or later, said the Fire Zun cultivator. Many of Tian Qi's cultivators went traveling to practice cultivation. Some people died, but sometimes they came back after a few years, and each time they did, Tian Qi was happy to see their progress. Teacher, is Lin Feng here? Asked Tian Qi Shui. She had mixed feelings when it came to Lin Feng. In the mysterious world, he had shown her how scary he was, then there was the whole thing with Huang Fu Long. Now she had broken through to the 6th Tian Qi layer, she could even defeat people of the 7th Tian Qi layer. Lin Feng was probably the same as her. Lin Feng. The teachers glanced at each other, they looked nostalgic. They had taken Lin Feng as their own disciple, then they had made him leave for his own good so that he could progress. They too were wondering how he was doing. Lin Feng. Mr. Bai turned around and looked at a very beautiful girl behind him. Shi Yun, you know Lin Feng? Asked Mr. Bai. Hua Shi Yun's lips twitched. Then, she smiled and said, I've been in Tian Qi for more than a year now, how could I not know him? Huh, Shi Yun, if you meet him, you'll instantly fall in love, said the Fire Zun cultivator jokingly, making her blush. I haven't seen him for a while, so I wonder how he's doing, said the Sword Zun cultivator next to him sighing. I wonder how strong he's become. Chapter 1246, Amazed Teachers, I also want to see him, said Tian Qi Shui. She actually wanted to compare herself and see if she was stronger or not. If Lin Feng comes back, I hope we can all exchange views on cultivation, said Tian Qi Shui. The older men looked at her smiling. She used to be the strongest cultivator of Tianxian, so the fact that she wanted to fight Lin Feng was absolutely normal. Ever since Lin Feng had joined Tian Qi, she had taken great efforts to become stronger. No problem, if Lin Feng comes back, you can battle him, said Mr. Bai smiling. He was sure Tian Qi Shui wouldn't be able to resist Lin Feng if he came back, but he couldn't say that out loud. Qiu Yu, does she fight against you all the time? Said the Fire Zun cultivator smiling. Han Qiu Yu smiled, but said nothing. Haha. Anyways, Tian Gz and I agreed to make the young disciples of the 7 snowy peaks gather in 7 days. What a coincidence that Tian Qi Shui and Han Qiu Yu came back today though, so we should organize the meeting today instead. It's not a big event anyway, it's just a small meeting to discuss cultivation matters. Alright, where? Asked the Fire Zun cultivator smiling. On Tianxian, nobody minds doing it here anyways, the 3 Zun cultivators smiled. After what had happened in Tian Qi, everybody had realized how strong Mr. Bai was. Besides, Tian Shuzi had died, so people in Tian Qi were even closer now. Nobody went against the philosophy and rules of Tian Qi. The Snow Zun cultivator shouted loudly, Tianxian is calling all the leaders and their disciples to come here. His voice rolled over the mountain range. What was going on? People started heading towards Tianxian. Lin Feng was still flying through the valleys and mountains ranges when he heard his teacher's voice. Hearing his teacher's voice brought back positive memories. Maybe he knows I'm back, whispered Lin Feng, and then he smiled in a resplendent way. Teacher, shouted Lin Feng. Mr. Bai was about to go back to the ground after shouting, but when he heard that voice, he stopped moving. That was Lin Feng's voice. The Fire and Sword Zun cultivators were also surprised, and then they smiled. He's back too. The little madman came back, thought the Zun cultivators. Lin Feng. Tian Qi Shui was excited. Lin Feng. Hua Shi Yun's eyes twinkled too. She blushed and shivered. Was she going to see him again? Many people looked surprised, but then they looked calm again. He's back, so he must have become stronger, thought the 3 Zun cultivators smiling when they saw Lin Feng arrive. Teacher. Lin Feng landed in front of his 3 teachers and smiled. 8th Tianqi layer, not bad, said Mr. Bai tapping Lin Feng's shoulder. Let's go and have a chat. Lin Feng smiled and nodded at Tianqi Shui and Han Qiuyu. Even though they weren't friends in the past, they were all members of Tianqi and had to be friends now. Besides, Lin Feng had become more mature, so such small things didn't matter so much. Tianqi Shui also smiled and nodded at Lin Feng. Before seeing him, she had thought of their battle, but now Lin Feng seemed so friendly and natural. Lin Feng looked at Hua Shiyun. He had met her in Dragon Mountain and she was just as beautiful as before. She blushed when Lin Feng looked at her. Lin Feng, said Hua Shiyun. Shiyun, long time no see, said Lin Feng smiling. Lin Feng, you know each other, asked the Fire Zune cultivator. A moment before, he had said that if Shiyun knew Lin Feng, she would fall in love with him. He didn't know that they already knew each other. We do. I met her in Dragon Mountain, said Lin Feng smiling. The Fire Zune cultivator smiled and said, ah, good, good. He smiled in a deep and meaningful way, making Hua Shiyun blush even more. She was very shy. Little Lin Feng, did you go to Ba Huang province after leaving? The Fire Zune cultivator asked. I just came back from the Ba Huang province, said Lin Feng smiling. How's Ba Huang province? Are there many strong cultivators there? Asked the Fire Zune cultivator. He was curious. Even though he had broken through to the Zune Qi layer, he had never left that part of the world. Ba Huang province is gigantic. There are some emperors, a dozen, there are also many high-level Zune cultivators. In fact, Zune cultivators are normal there. A small region in the Ba Huang province is larger than all of Ganyu, replied Lin Feng smiling. The Snow Zune cultivator's eyes were twinkling. He also wanted to go and travel. There were many Zune cultivators, like him, how incredible. It's no wonder you've already broken through to the 8th Tianqi layer then. You must still be quite weak in Ba Huang province though, thought Tianqi Shui. Lin Feng, have you tried to become an imperial cultivation disciple? Asked the Fire Zune cultivator. Ho Qing Lin had come for that reason back then. I did, said Lin Feng smiling. And, asked the 3 Zune cultivators at the same time. Lin Feng looked at his 3 teachers smiling and said, I succeeded. All right. Very good, not bad, they were all pleasantly surprised. Their disciples had become an imperial cultivation disciple. Tianqi Shui and Han Qiuyu were stupefied. Hua Shiyun smiled and clenched her fists, she was excited for Lin Feng. Teachers, not only did I become an imperial cultivation disciple, but I also met the emperor personally, said Lin Feng. I'm the emperor's direct disciple now. Boom, the 3 Zune cultivators were speechless. Emperors were astonishing in their eyes, so that was incredible news. Lin Feng laughed when he saw their facial expressions. How would they react if they knew who the emperor he met was? Teachers, I need to see Teacher Tianji, I need to tell you something. Chapter 1247, Defeating Tianqi Shui, you want him to be here to talk to us? Mr. Bai seemed surprised. He'll come here soon, little Lin Feng. Now that you've become the emperor's direct disciple, what a surprise, cherish this opportunity and don't end up like us. A bright future awaits you, said Mr. Bai. Becoming an emperor's direct disciple was something extraordinary. With such a great disciple, the future of Tianqi was going to be bright as well. Indeed. Little Lin Feng, leaving Ganyu was the right thing to do, said the Fire Zune cultivator smiling. Nonsense, said the Sword Zune cultivator. Lin Feng, show us everything you learnt, said the Snow Zune cultivator, making the 2 other Zune cultivators laugh. They also wanted to know what Lin Feng had learned abroad. Tianqi Shui was staring at Lin Feng too. She was astonished, Lin Feng had become the emperor's direct disciple. Would she ever be able to catch up with Lin Feng? She hadn't thought that there would be such a great difference between them. Lin Feng, I want to try and have a battle with you, said Tian Qi Shui. She had broken through to the 6th Tian Qi layer and could easily defeat ordinary cultivators of the 7th Tian Qi layer. Even though she knew she couldn't defeat Lin Feng, she still wanted to try. She wanted to see the difference between them, so that she could remain motivated in the future. Lin Feng looked at her and smiled, but he shook his head. How could they fight? He was too much stronger. How could he fight her? You despise me, said Tian Qi Shui. Then she said, Lin Feng, even though you're stronger than me, I will do my best to fight you. Even if you win, it's no problem. She slowly approached Lin Feng. Lin Feng smiled wryly. The Snow Zune cultivator smiled and nodded. Teacher, you mean, said Lin Feng using telepathy. Go, show her how strong you are. It will motivate her to become stronger, said the Snow Zune cultivator. Lin Feng slightly nodded. If Tian Qi Shui couldn't stand losing, she wouldn't be able to progress. Defeating her was a good way to make her feel even more determined. I will use all my strength and you should too, don't show any mercy, said Tian Qi Shui, rising up in the air and snowflakes started floating around her. Tian Qi Shui had broken through to the 6th Tian Qi layer, so now her snow intent was level 7 already. Snow explosion, said Tian Qi Shui. The atmosphere was suddenly filled with snowflakes which started exploding around Lin Feng. She also threw herself at Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng was standing there motionless. Ice energies surrounded him and continuously assaulted him. Just as she had said, no mercy, so she used her full strength from the start. However, she was astonished, it was as if she had been attacking a golden statue. Lin Feng was motionless. Tian Qi Shui started punching Lin Feng violently, but nothing happened. Was the difference between them that big? You're so weak, said Lin Feng. Tian Qi Shui's heart beat faster, too weak. Freeze. Tian Qi Shui released ice intent. The earth and sky seemed like they were going to freeze, but once they neared Lin Feng, they simply disappeared. You've been practicing cultivation for such a long time and yet you're still so weak, said Lin Feng cruelly. He wanted to upset her. You're as strong as an insect, you made no progress at all, how can you call yourself a cultivator, said Lin Feng, continuing to criticize her. Han Qiu-yu's silhouette flickered and he shouted furiously, let me try. He released his book spirit, but Lin Feng turned around and shouted furiously, piss off now. The sound wave emitted by his voice contained thunderous energies. Lin Feng's voice immediately propelled Han Qiu-yu away and blood splashed from his mouth. Qiu-yu. Tian Qi Shui moved towards Han Qiu-yu, her face was deathly pale. It felt like a dream. She hadn't seen Lin Feng for a while and now there was such a large difference between them. Tian Qi Shui turned and looked at Lin Feng. She felt ridiculous. Show me your real strength, said Tian Qi Shui, her face was red. Lin Feng didn't say anything, he stretched his hand and condensed thunder energies. Very quickly, his entire body was surrounded by thunderous energies. Lin Feng suddenly looked like a thunder god. Kaboom! A lightning struck Tian Qi Shui, she closed her eyes and her face turned deathly pale. She thought she was going to die, but then she opened her eyes again and saw Lin Feng. He was still standing there. Tian Qi Shui's face was extremely pale but suddenly she laughed, she was making fun of herself. She wanted to try and fight against Lin Feng. No wonder Lin Feng had refused. There was such an incredible difference between them. Even Lin Feng's 3 teachers were astonished. Lin Feng could control thunder abstruse energies. Emperor's imperial disciple, thought the 3 teachers. Was it easy to become an emperor's direct disciple? We can't even see how strong he is anymore, sighed Mr. Bai. The 3 teachers were smiling. That's only the tip of the iceberg, there are many people like me in the Ba Huang province, so that's nothing exceptional. Don't feel too proud, said Lin Feng indifferently. Tian Qi Shui was astonished. The tip of the iceberg? She hadn't seen much of the world. Thank you, said Tian Qi Shui suddenly smiling. Now, Han Qiu Yu and Tian Qi Shui wanted to go to Ba Huang province themselves. Lin Feng smiled, but said nothing more. Lin Feng is back, said someone in the distance. Lin Feng turned around and saw Tian Ji. Lin Feng smiled and said, Teacher. Long time no see, you've already broken through to the 8th Tian Qi layer, not bad, said Tian Ji smiling. I was wondering who had come to Tian Qi, it sounded like 1,000 horses, said the leader of Yaoguang Peak. Lin Feng. The leader of Yuhang also arrived. Quickly, the leaders arrived one after the other, except Tian Shuzi. Lin Feng greeted all of them politely. I thought you had organized the meeting because Lin Feng had come back, said the leader of Yaoguang. If little Lin Feng attacks today, there's no need to organize any battles at all, said the Snow Zoom cultivator smiling. Chapter 1248, Teachings. He's right, Lin Feng is very strong. A moment ago, Mr. Bai called everyone before he knew Lin Feng was coming, the Fire Zoom cultivator was smiling. Stop it with the suspense, said Tian Ji. Let's host the battles another day, little Lin Feng should give us some lessons. Alright, little Lin Feng should teach his fellow disciples and help them become stronger, said the Snow Zoom cultivator smiling. Lin Feng was speechless. He teach other people. He didn't know how to teach to other people. Teacher, said Lin Feng smiling wryly. The Snow Zoom cultivator smiled and said, don't you want to teach us what you learnt in Ba Huang province? Lin Feng looked at the old man scratching his beard and smiled wryly. Ba Huang, Jiu, the holy city, those places were in the central part of the continent of the 9 clouds. No wonder the Zoom cultivators were happy to see him, they even looked proud. If you have nothing to teach, then just attack, no need to be polite, said Jian Fengzi smiling. People rolled their eyes. Lin Feng had broken through to the 8th Tian Qi layer. Tian Qi was rising, so there were other cultivators of the top of the Tian Qi layer in Tian Qi. Some of them had already broken through to the 9th Tian Qi layer, so many of them wanted to compare themselves with Lin Feng. Little Feng, go ahead, said Mr. Bai. Lin Feng smiled wryly and walked to the center of the crowd. He had nothing to teach, so as Jian Fengzi had said, they could just proceed with the battles. The other leaders looked at Lin Feng and smiled. Cultivators could learn a lot when they battled each other. Many disciples looked excited when they saw Lin Feng walk to the center of the crowd. I'll try first. Me first. Please, let's exchange views on cultivation. Everybody started talking at the same time. The teachers looked delighted. Bzzz, some wind started blowing as a silhouette appeared in front of Lin Feng. He smiled and shook hands with Lin Feng. Please, let's exchange views on cultivation, brother. That cultivator had broken through to the 7th Tian Qi layer and understood wind intent. Lin Feng nodded. His opponent started releasing wind energies as a hurricane appeared and rolled towards Lin Feng. Boom, the hurricane immediately bombarded Lin Feng's body. The crowd was surprised, was Lin Feng that slow? But then they saw Lin Feng disappear. He had moved using wind energies, so they couldn't keep track of him. His opponent kept attacking and snowflakes were moving chaotically around. However, none of the attacks reached Lin Feng. Wind, he's using wind energies too, the crowd was surprised. Lin Feng was using the wind as well. Lin Feng's wind intent was too powerful. Go, said Lin Feng. Suddenly, his opponent felt like he was caught in a tornado and was propelled back to his original position. Practicing wind cultivation doesn't mean that you borrow the wind around you only, it means that you must understand it and fuse together with it. Only then can you feel confident and at ease using it, said Lin Feng while moving around like the wind. Boom boom. Suddenly, Lin Feng landed on the ground, the snowy ground broke and cracked from under his feet. How strong, the others were surprised. Lin Feng's understanding of the wind was incredible. When the wind disappeared, that disciple's eyes twinkled and he bowed before Lin Feng while saying, "Thank you for your instructions." The old men smiled, especially the 3 Zun cultivators of Tianxian. They had noticed Lin Feng from the first time he appeared in Tiantai. "My turn," shouted someone else. That person's voice was loud and made the earth and sky shake. "That's Wang Ling, she understands the force of the earth and sky. She has already broken through to the 8th Tian Qi layer like Lin Feng, so maybe she can compete with him," thought the crowd. Wang Ling was a genius from Yaoguang Peak. "Please let's exchange views on cultivation, brother Lin Feng," said Wang Ling walking towards Lin Feng. The ground was cracking as Wang Ling released energies. Boom! She took another step and many people felt like they were suffocating. Lin Feng looked extremely calm and serene though. It was difficult to know what he was thinking. If Wang Ling's attacks don't affect Lin Feng at all, then Lin Feng really is qualified to teach us things, thought the crowd. Wang Ling was still releasing incredible energies. Even though she had broken through to the 8th Tian Qi layer, her qi was as strong as someone who had broken through to the 9th Tian Qi layer. Wang Ling is a real genius in Tian Qi, thought many people sighing. Lin Feng finally moved with little step, and then another. Kaboom! Then, he moved with incredible speed and the air around him whistled. Wang Ling was surprised, her qi had suddenly broken. Lin Feng took another step and more rumbling sounds appeared. Wang Ling groaned as a terrifying force emerged. Each of Lin Feng's steps made her heart pound. Boom! A cloud rose up in the air and the ground shook violently. Wang Ling groaned again, she fell down to her knees and blood splashed out of her mouth. Her face had turned deathly pale. Lin Feng hadn't even released qi, he simply looked like an ordinary person. Wang Ling stood up, she calmly looked at Lin Feng and bowed. As if she had been talking to a teacher, she said, "Thank you very much for your instructions." All right. The leader of Yaoguang said to his disciples, "Go and learn from him." Lin Feng then fought many more cultivators who were at a similar cultivation level and Lin Feng defeated them using the same methods they used against him. Many people lost, but the Zun cultivators kept laughing and smiling. They were delighted and satisfied, especially Mr. Bai and the 2 others. They were proud of their young disciple. They had been right to accept him in Tian Qi. Lin Feng taught every single disciple something and all within 2 hours. Everybody looked at him with admiration, nobody was envious. The difference between Lin Feng and them was incredible, they could only look upon him and hope that they'd become as strong as him someday. "Please let's exchange views on cultivation, brother," said someone at that moment. It was the beautiful Hu Shiyun. "Come on Shiyun, don't," said Lin Feng shaking his head. "Why don't you want to teach me anything?" said Hu Shiyun looking angry. "Shiyun, you practice the 9 sun skill, so I'll teach you the cosmos burning sun technique that I use all the time." Lin Feng opened his third eye and transmitted the technique to Hu Shiyun. She closed her eyes and received the technique. Everybody was gasping with amazement. Lin Feng took out some rings and gave them to the leaders of the snowy peaks. "Teachers, I have lots of skills and techniques that I took from Zun cultivators, I also have plenty of abstruse crystals and holy weapons. Please feel free to take them, if you have the opportunity, distribute them out to outstanding disciples." Chapter 1249, Sent by Emperor's Skills for Zun Cultivators, Abstruse Crystals and Holy Weapons. All were extremely precious treasures, those items were even useful for Zun cultivators, but for Tian-level cultivators, those were beyond precious. Tian Qi didn't have many holy weapons, so if all the Zun cultivators of Tian Qi could possess holy weapons, they'd become even stronger. In other words, Lin Feng was making Tian Qi stronger again. Alright, if the Xiaoyao sect, the East Sea Dragon Palace and the others dare attack us again, we'll teach them a good lesson, said Tianji. He was extremely happy. Lin Feng gave the 6 leaders each a ring, but he had kept the best ones for his 3 teachers. Lin Feng, even though you taught your fellow disciples some things about cultivation, we still don't know how strong you really are. Could you help your fellow disciples become more open-minded, said Tianji smiling. Lin Feng had shown them that he was strong, but he hadn't shown them how strong he really was. If he could show them how strong he really was, his fellow disciples would be even more motivated and inspired. Only Zun cultivators can see how strong he really is, I guess, said Mr. Bai smiling. Is there a Zun cultivator who is willing to fight little Lin Feng? Indeed, with little Lin Feng's strength, a Zun cultivator should try and battle him, said Tianji laughing. Everybody was excited. Could their fellow disciple Lin Feng defeat Zun cultivators? Lin Feng smiled wryly. There was no difference between high-level Tian cultivators and ordinary low-level Zun cultivators to him. In the Ba Huang province, he had already killed so many Zun cultivators. I'll try, said an old cultivator of the first Zun Qi layer. He was from Tian Shu Peak. He was looking at Lin Feng in a cold way. Back then, Tian Shu Zi had died because of Lin Feng. He had betrayed Tian Qi because Lin Feng hadn't cast any Holy Mark's deployment spell on Tian Shu Peak. Now, they had to go to the other peaks to practice cultivation. Lin Feng sensed that person's coldness and looked at Mr. Bai. Little Feng, just use your full strength. Some intransigent people need to be taught a lesson, said the Snow Zun cultivator to Lin Feng using telepathy. He knew that there were still people who missed Tian Shu Zi. Alright, replied Lin Feng using telepathy. He then said to the old man, let's exchange views on cultivation, uncle. Zun cultivators use abstruse energies and Tian-level cultivators can't. They don't even know what abstruse energies are. Even though you are talented, I will show you what the difference between a Zun cultivator and a Tian-level cultivator is, said the old man with a lecturing tone. Lin Feng calmly listened and replied, thank you, uncle. Being able to receive your instructions is an honor for me. Good, I will help you, but be careful, said the old man. His silhouette suddenly flickered as a sonic boom sounded. A gigantic hand made from snow attacked Lin Feng. Lin Feng jumped forwards and raised his hand. Lin Feng's hand looked like an illusion and could even make the space around them crackle. Kaboom! A terribly loud bang sounded. The snow hand broke into pieces and the snowflakes floated around. Lin Feng's space-destructive punch continued moving forwards and crashed onto the old man's real hand, causing him to groan in pain. The crowd was astonished. Lin Feng was standing there looking calm and serene as if nothing had happened. The Zun cultivator's facial expression looked hideous and his mouth was bleeding. He couldn't withstand a single attack, the crowd was surprised. Show Lin Feng what the difference was? When the crowd thought about what he had said, they suddenly thought the old man was ridiculous. Uncle, I'm sorry, I offended you, said Lin Feng politely to the old man from Tian Shu Peak. He didn't look happy, he just looked calm. Even on the inside, Lin Feng wasn't particularly happy that he had won. Defeating a low-level Zun cultivator was something normal for him. I'm old, we old men should probably retire at some point, said that Zun cultivator sighing. He sounded like a dying old man. Then, he shifted back into the crowd. Mr. Bai and Tianji glanced at each other and smiled. It was difficult to see how strong Lin Feng really was. Alright, let's stop here then. Everybody should continue practicing cultivation to become even stronger, said Tianji. Lin Feng, are there so many geniuses in Ba Huang province? Asked someone at that moment. Lin Feng smiled at that person and nodded, so many strong cultivators and there are endless opportunities. However, before going there, you should ask yourself if you are prepared enough. So many strong cultivators, thought many people. Were they ready to go to Ba Huang? Everybody dispersed, including Tian Xian's disciples. Very quickly, only the three Zun cultivators, Lin Feng, Hua Shiyun and Tian Gzi were left. Lin Feng, tell us the truth, how much strength did you use for that punch? Asked Tian Gzi smiling. Mr. Bai and the others also looked at Lin Feng. They were also wondering. Honestly, asked Lin Feng in a fragile voice. Of course, said Tian Gzi. No strength, it was just a basic punch for me, said Lin Feng. Tian Gzi was speechless, his heart ached. He had thought Lin Feng would say 20 to 30% at least, even 10 would have been fine, but just a basic punch with no strength. In other words, Lin Feng didn't need to use any strength to defeat a Zun cultivator. Little Lin Feng, you're hurting people by saying that, said the Fire Zun cultivator. He had already reached half of his life and had only broken through to the third Zun Qi layer. Lin Feng had just punched that Zun cultivator without using any strength and had even injured him. If he had used his full strength, would he have killed him? Little Lin Feng, do you want to try and fight us? Asked the sword Zun cultivator, his eyes looked sharp. Lin Feng rolled his eyes, teacher, how could I? Don't scare little Lin Feng, you madman, said Mr. Bai to Jian Fengzi. Then, he looked at Lin Feng and said, little Lin Feng, didn't you say you wanted to tell us something? Lin Feng nodded and said, teachers, have you ever thought of going abroad? Going abroad, they glanced at each other and then Tian Gzi said, your teachers and I have already talked about those things. Back then, the leaders of Tianji Peak and Tianxian Peak were also my teachers and your teachers' teachers. Back then, even if we left Tianqi, it wouldn't have been a problem, nobody would have caused any troubles for Tianqi, but after that, they left and Tianqi was too weak so we couldn't leave. Besides, we're not as talented as they were, therefore, we gave up the idea. Teachers, real geniuses rise up in times of danger, when risking their lives. Thinking too much is a mistake, it makes one miss opportunities. Concerning Tianqi's biggest enemies, I'll go and pay them a visit soon, said Lin Feng. His eyes were suddenly filled with ice-cold lights. The East Sea Dragon Palace, Jade Heaven, they had participated to the massacre in Shuiyu. They had interrupted Meng Qing's transformation process and caused Lin Feng to turn into a demon. His grandfather's cultivation had been crippled, his teacher Yan Yuping Sheng were killed, many of his friends had died as well. Teachers, do you remember Ho Qing Lin, the one who came to tell us about the recruitment process? Of course, we do. With his reincarnation sword, he blocked Yu Shao. Otherwise Tianqi would have been in danger, said the Snow Zun cultivator nodding. He's my second fellow disciple. Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu have 11 direct disciples and he's the second one. I'm the 11th. Do you know why Ho Qing Lin came to Tianqi to tell us about the recruitment process? Mr. Bai looked surprised and said, I wasn't sure back then, was it something fishy in the end? Back then, Ho Qing Lin didn't know me, but he helped me a few times and had also helped Tianqi. It was because the emperors had sent him. The emperors had sent him. When he said that, the teacher's heart started racing. Chapter 1250, Leaving confidently at ease sent by the emperors. Why had they sent someone to Ganyu, especially to Tianqi? Little Lin Feng, what's going on? Asked the Snow Zun cultivator with a serious tone. Teacher, Ho Qing Lin told us that he was the direct disciple of 2 emperors and that those 2 emperors are good friends. One of them is called Emperor Shi, said Lin Feng. The Snow Zun cultivator was visibly moved, he immediately understood. Tian Gzi was surprised. He took a deep breath. Emperor Shi, Tian Xian's emblem was a stone. 2 emperors, and they had sent Ho Qing Lin to Tianqi on purpose. Ho Qing Lin had even helped them. It could only mean one thing, Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu, Tianxian Peak and Tianji Peak. Their teachers. They had gone abroad and now they had become emperors. The Zun cultivators were amazed, Hu Shiyun was speechless. Lin Feng walked away to let them think about it. Their teachers had already become emperors. Hu Shiyun followed Lin Feng, leaving footprints in the snow. "How did you end up in Tianqi?" asked Lin Feng. Hu Shiyun lowered her head and blushed. "I heard that you were in Tianqi about a year ago and that you were a disciple here. I found Tianqi, but you had already left. Then, I became a disciple here," said Hu Shiyun in a gentle voice as if it took a great effort to talk. She had come to Tianqi because of Lin Feng and the Fire Zun cultivator had accepted her as a disciple, then she became the holy girl of Tianxian. Hu Shiyun looked very shy. She raised her head again, but when she saw that Lin Feng was looking at her, she lowered her head again. "Why did you even bother?" said Lin Feng sighing. Back then in the Dragon Mountain Empire, the situation was complex, but surprisingly, she had decided to leave and join Tianqi. She lowered her head and said nothing. "I know, but being able to see you walk is the most beautiful thing, it makes me happy. You don't need to have me in your heart, just remember that I exist," said Hu Shiyun suddenly. She smiled in a resplendent way. From her eyes, Lin Feng could see that she was tormented though. "Shiyun, you should choose what you want to do, you should have your own life," said Lin Feng smiling in a gentle way. "Someday maybe," said Hu Shiyun smiling. "I will always follow you, maybe I will go to the Ba Huang province and find something suitable for me there, but for now, the only thing I want to do is follow you." Lin Feng was speechless, he didn't know what to say. "You will find your own path," said Lin Feng putting his hands on her neck and pushing her hair away from her face. Then, they both smiled in a resplendent way. "Maybe," said Hu Shiyun looking at Lin Feng with her beautiful eyes and smile. Lin Feng nodded and put his hands away. Hu Shiyun suddenly looked sad. Lin Feng turned around and walked faster. "Shiyun, help me by telling the teachers that the two emperors are in Tiantai, in northern Ba Huang, and also, give that ring to Mr. Bai. He will know what to do with it. See ya." Lin Feng then threw a ring and then disappeared in the horizon. Hu Shiyun caught the ring and looked at Lin Feng leave. She had hoped to see him for such a long time and now she had only spent a few minutes with him. Could she forget about him? Maybe. Snowflakes continued descending from the sky. Lin Feng had left for a while already, but Hu Shiyun was still there, trying not to cry. "Silly girl, he's gone already." The Fire Zun cultivator was there. Hu Shiyun didn't know how long he had been there, behind her. He tapped her shoulders gently, then the Snow Zun cultivator and the Sword Zun cultivator also arrived. They all gazed into the distance, just like her. "He left without saying anything, we'll have to teach him how to be polite next time," said the Snow Zun cultivator. "Right, once we're in Ba Huang province, we'll teach him a lesson," said Jian Fengzi gazing into the distance. He had decided to go there already. "Poor girl," thought the Fire Zun cultivator before adding, "Shiyun likes him and he acted emotionlessly. Hi. Hu Shiyun smiled and turned around, "You miss him even more than I do it seems." Then, Hu Shiyun walked towards the Snow Palace, leaving the old men alone. Lin Feng left using his sword to travel with his fastest speed. He traveled around freely without any real goal. He had gone to Tianqi with one goal and now he had achieved it. He had given his teachers presents and told them about the emperors. He didn't need to care about their decisions though, they could decide whatever they wanted. Concerning Hu Shiyun, Lin Feng was also convinced that she would find her own path. For Lin Feng, the distance between Ganyu and Xueyu was small. Suddenly, his sword streaked across the sky and he quickly arrived in Xueyu. When he thought about how he needed less than half a day to go to Xueyu, he realized that he was going to see his family and close ones soon. He was a bit nervous and a bit excited. How was everyone there? Lin Feng was coming back. Chapter 1251, Shuiyu Zun cultivators. Shuiyu was a small country under the jurisdiction of a low-level empire called Dragon Mountain. Lin Feng had been there before, but he thought of it differently than he had in the past. In that direction is Duanren border, Duanren city, thought Lin Feng gazing into the distance. He remembered that place, the border between Shuiyu and Mou. Shuiyu, I'm back, thought Lin Feng smiling. His sword streaked across the sky in the direction of Duanren border. As soon as he crossed the border, some guards raised their heads and looked at the sword flying overhead. There aren't so many people. Fei Yang is the prince of Mou, so there shouldn't be problems between Mou and Shuiyu anymore, thought Lin Feng. He looked at the buildings which he had set on fire. On the city gate tower, there was a soldier wearing an armor. It was a Qixie soldier. Who are you? The crowd raised their heads and saw a young man wearing white clothes and riding a sword. What a terrifying young man. Even though Shuiyu is as strong as a low-level empire now, I don't think there are any young people as strong as him here, thought the crowd. The young man in the sky looked incredible. At the very front of the city gate tower, there was a girl who had a red and gold armor. Such beautiful eyes, thought Lin Feng after he saw her. He had a familiar feeling. The girl took off her helmet and her long black hair fell to her shoulders. She was smiling up at him. Lin Feng smiled back at her. He descended onto the city gate tower. Cling cling, everybody suddenly raised their spears behind him. Put them down, said a middle-aged man furiously, his voice was extremely loud. The soldiers immediately put their spears down. You're back, said Lu Fei in a gentle voice. Her chi was heroic, she looked beautiful, domineering, confident. She had changed a lot since he last saw her, she didn't look sad anymore. Lin Feng nodded, what are you doing here? I have many memories here, my father, a few uncles, you, said Lu Fei smiling. Lin Feng was the symbol of Shuiyu and the monarch. As a member of the army, nobody could prevent her from doing what she wanted. Lin Feng smiled wryly and stretched his hand towards her, saying in a gentle voice, come back with me. Lu Fei lowered her head shyly and smiled, all right, she said in a fragile voice. She raised her head again and looked at Lin Feng. He took her hand and invited her onto his giant sword. General, shouted the soldiers in unison. Kacha. The middle-aged man knelt down in front of the two silhouettes and shouted, kneel down, soldiers, they all obeyed and knelt down. General Lin Feng will take good care of General Lu, whispered the middle-aged man who was the vice-general. General Lin Feng, the legendary cultivator of Shuiyu. No wonder she followed him without resisting. That was General Lin Feng. He's as young as in the legends and just as handsome. Thought the crowd watching as the two silhouettes disappeared. They hadn't even greeted their general. Lin Feng and Lu Fei were flying on the sword. Lu Fei took off her armor and Lin Feng couldn't help but steal a glance. She no longer had a bad temper as when Lin Feng had first met her. Fei Fei, you have an incredible figure, said Lin Feng smiling in a resplendent way. Lu Fei looked at him and smiled, do you remember the first time we met? How could I forget? You almost killed me with an arrow, said Lin Feng shrugging. Luckily, he was quick back then. Well, it's your fault. You were perverted, you were spying on me while I was bathing, said Lu Fei indifferently. They used to be so pure back then. When did I spy? I was just walking, but you were practicing cultivation. You were in the water anyway, so could I see anything, said Lin Feng. Humph, what about the second time? Would you swear that you didn't look at me then, said Lu Fei. You're mine now anyways, so it doesn't matter anymore, said Lin Feng shamelessly. What? Who is yours, said Lu Fei trying to sound angry, but actually she was feeling shy. She even blushed. Are you not? Asked Lin Feng, smiling and looking at her. She just lowered her head. You bastard, said Lu Fei kicking his leg. Can you cope with me? said Lin Feng laughing and putting his arms around Lu Fei. Lu Fei looked at him as if she were angry, but yet, she blushed. She struggled to get away, but she couldn't. After a short time, she rested her head on his shoulders. It had been such a long time, it comforting to be in Lin Feng's arms again. "I'm here now," said Lin Feng gently caressing her back. Uncle Lu had told Lin Feng to take care of Lu Fei and he had left her alone for a few years instead. He felt guilty. Besides, she even liked him, so Lin Feng had to take care of her. Lin Feng's sword streaked across the sky. Lin Feng was seated and Lu Fei was in his arms. Lu Fei was smiling. How many days had she lived without sensing that warmth in her heart? She had thought that Lin Feng had forgotten about her or that he hadn't taken to heart what her father asked of him. After all, who was she to him? If Lin Feng hadn't said anything, she would have kept her distance. Maybe, she would have stayed in Duanren forever, doing the same as her father. She had thought a lot about those things. However, Lin Feng hugged he and now she couldn't calm herself down. She felt warm. The former imperial city. Lu Fei looked down at the ancient imperial city. It looked beautiful, but it wasn't as majestic as before. At that moment, Lin Feng frowned. Some people rose up in the air and their qi was quite powerful. Zun cultivators. Lin Feng was amazed and asked Lu Fei, Fei, since when are there Zun cultivators in Shuiyu? What? Zun cultivators? Lu Fei looked scared. I've been in Duanren for a year so I don't know, but there shouldn't be any Zun cultivators. If there are any, it would only be in Yangzhou City, replied Lu Fei. Lin Feng nodded and his sword moved towards those people. One of the Zun cultivators raised his head and looked at that gigantic sword approaching him. How quick, was his first thought. Then, he looked at Lin Feng and Lu Fei, a cultivator of the 8th Tian Qi layer and a trivial cultivator of the Xian Qi layer. "Sir, how did you come to Shuiyu?" said Lin Feng indifferently. Lu Fei looked over at him, she was astonished that Lin Feng was so simply talking to a Zun cultivator. "Are you talking to me?" said that Zun cultivator smiling in a cold way. Shuiyu was a small country and there weren't that many Tian-level cultivators, but Zun cultivators were even less common so he had to respect him. "Stop talking shit," said Lin Feng. "How audacious. You piss off, give me your ring, the sword and the girl," said the Zun cultivator releasing terrifying energies. Lu Fei almost fell down. Chapter 1252, Pressure from Ba Huang. Lin Feng looked at him in a cold way. "You want to die," said Lin Feng. A dazzling sword appeared in his hand and flew towards that cultivator. That person was surprised, he wanted to block the attack, but his arm was immediately cut off. Boom! Lu Fei was shaking. She couldn't believe her eyes. She was still lying in Lin Feng's arms. Lin Feng had just moved one hand, while still seated, and he had cut off a Zun cultivator's arm. Lin Feng could fight against Zun cultivators now. The Zun cultivator's face turned deathly pale. His blood circulated throughout his body, he wanted to heal back his arm again. "You're Lin Feng," said the Zun cultivator. Lin Feng said, "Someone from the Ba Huang province." Only people from Ba Huang province could recognize him that quickly. "I offended you, so I hope you can forgive me," said that person, his face was still deathly pale. He even seemed a little scared. After all, Lin Feng had killed Qi Tiansheng and some Zun cultivators from the Qi clan. That guy was only a low-level Zun cultivator, so he was quite weak compared to Lin Feng. "What's going on?" asked someone loudly. More people rose up in the air and they were all Zun cultivators. They saw that their friend's arm was cut off, so they were staring at Lin Feng. "Lin Feng, we didn't know it was you, please forgive us," said that person again, scared that his friends could offend Lin Feng. He had to warn them, otherwise, they might make the same mistake. Lin Feng. He's Lin Feng, the Zun cultivators were all surprised. Just like in the legends, he was young and handsome, he had also only broken through to the 8th Tian Qi layer, but he could already killed low-level Zun cultivators easily. He didn't even need Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword. Slap yourself. Lin Feng didn't understand why there were Zun cultivators in Xueyu. Were those people from the Wen clan? That Zun cultivator was surprised. Lin Feng was asking a Zun cultivator to slap his own face. You have 3 seconds, said Lin Feng. Slap. The Zun cultivator slapped his own face. If he wanted to live on, he could only lose face for now. Lin Feng was still calmly sitting on his sword with Lu Fei in his arms. Lin Feng was fearless even though he was facing a group of people who could easily destroy mountains. Lu Fei lowered her head and smiled. Lin Feng had become so strong already, even Zun cultivators feared him. A few more years and then how strong would he be? She was already very excited. Are you from the Wen clan? Asked Lin Feng. No, said his interlocutor shaking his head. Apart from the Wen clan, who here could be from the Ba Huang province? How did you come here? Asked Lin Feng in a cold way. After the apparition above the Tian Su teleportation portal appeared, some people said that the place in that image possessed incredible treasures. So, several powerful groups oppressed the Wen clan to activate the teleportation portal for themselves. Replied the Zun cultivator. Lin Feng was amazed. Oppressed the Wen clan? What treasure was there in Xueyu? What could make influential groups force the Wen clan to activate the teleportation portal? After Lin Feng left Ba Huang province, it seemed like even more things had happened, but just what exactly was happening behind the scenes? Can everybody use the teleportation portal now? Asked Lin Feng. Yes, temporarily at least, but people have to pay with abstruse crystal. The Wen clan can't let people use their things for free. Piss off. If you dare attack ordinary people in Xueyu, I'll kill you, said Lin Feng. The Zun cultivators descended from the sky. After they left, Lin Feng smiled wryly. Had he known, he wouldn't have crossed the entire continent like he had, he would have used the teleportation portal instead. Of course, he couldn't know that. He couldn't know that other powerful groups would put so much pressure on the Wen clan. What treasures are there in the Yunhai mountain range, thought Lin Feng. He hadn't thought things would progress so fast. Now, too many people could use the teleportation portal. Soon, there would probably be even more strong cultivators in Xueyu. Let's go, said Lin Feng. His sword streaked across the sky in the direction of Yangzhou city. Lu Fei, who was still in Lin Feng's arms, turned her head and asked, where is the Ba Huang province? In the central part of the continent of the 9 clouds. There's a town called the Holy City, and outside of the Holy City, there is the Ba Huang province and Jiuyu, explained Lin Feng. In the central part of the continent, there are probably many strong cultivators, whispered Lu Fei. No wonder all those people were Zun cultivators. Right, there are also many cultivation emperors, so Zun cultivators are normal there. Cultivation emperors. Lu Fei was amazed. She couldn't imagine what cultivation emperors were like. She had only heard of such people in legends. Even Zun cultivators were incredible for her. Those guys seem to be scared of you, are you really that strong? Said Lu Fei laughing. If I weren't strong, how could I hug such a beautiful girl? Said Lin Feng jokingly. Lu Fei rolled her eyes, you've become so strong and yet, you still say such indecent things. Indecent? Lin Feng shrugged. Lin Feng moved his hand inside Lu Fei's clothes and started moving it up. She blushed and moved even closer to him, she was feeling extremely shy. That's how we handle things, thought Lin Feng smiling in a resplendent way. He could still remember her, naked, in the water. He had just arrived in that world back then, he was a pure young boy. From that moment on, he had been constantly changing, until the destruction of the Yunhai sect and so on. You bastard, you're indecent, said Lu Fei shyly. She tapped his hand gently. You used to be such a rambunctious girl, how come you become shy now? In the future, I think I'll act even more indecently, said Lin Feng giggling. Lu Fei was speechless, she didn't dare look at him anymore. Xueyu, Yangzhou City, the new imperial city. After arriving in Yangzhou City, Lin Feng and Lu Fei jumped off the sword and went to the central part of the town. Lin Feng released his godly awareness and inspected the town. As he had expected, there were many Zun cultivators in Yangzhou City as well. As expected, there are Zun cultivators everywhere here, thought Lin Feng. There were people from all of the Ba Huang province. Luckily, those people had come with a precise goal, without the intention to annoy ordinary people. Otherwise, they could have destroyed the country already. However, were there people who had tried to go to the imperial palace? After all, it wasn't an ordinary place. When Lin Feng thought about it, he dragged Lu Fei and flew towards the palace. Some people sensed a strong wind brush against their bodies, but they didn't notice anything in particular. Chapter 1253, I'm Back. Yangzhou City was now Xueyu's imperial city. There were plenty of strong cultivators there now. Many of whom had already broken through to the Tian Qi layer. Back when, Duan Renhuang had astonished the country because he had broken through to the Tian Qi layer. He had no enemies then, but now, Tian-level cultivators were the norm. Inside the imperial palace, there were at least 10 people who had become quite strong. Xueyu could now be considered a low-level empire even. However, many people had realized that Tian-level cultivators were seemingly weak compared to all the strong cultivators that had arrived of late. Tian-level cultivators were nothing compared to Zun cultivators, and there were so many Zun cultivators in Yangzhou City now. We've all made such great improvements to become strong, and now we are still too weak. We're really cursed, said someone outside the imperial palace. What can we do? The deployment spell could kill Zun cultivators, but now if they teleport inside, they won't act friendly with everyone inside, said someone else sighing. Unfortunately, King Lin Feng is not here. Otherwise, I wonder what would happen. Maybe he would be able to face them. Last time, he killed people of the Tian Qi layer and even cast a protection spell which could kill Zun cultivators. I wonder how strong he is now. No use. Even though King Lin Feng is strong, he's still young. How could he compete with such incredible beings as Zun cultivators? Besides, this time, there aren't only one or two, there are countless Zun cultivators. Some people were chatting and sighing. They didn't know that Lin Feng could hear what they were saying. Lin Feng and Lu Fei appeared outside of the palace. Some people really wanted to attack the palace. The palace was his emblem, his symbol. If those strong cultivators wanted to invade it, they could. They could also see that the deployment spell wasn't incredible. I hope everyone's fine, thought Lin Feng. He entered the palace and found guards in red armors inside. They looked solemn and respectful. Their eyes looked bright and piercing. They were Imperial Qi Xie soldiers, the elite forces of Xueyu. Ordinary soldiers were not allowed to guard that prestigious place, only Qi Xie soldiers had that honor. They immediately recognized Lu Fei and her stunning figure. And the young man next to her, he was quite handsome. Metallic clanging sounds echoed as they put their spears down and knelt down. Surprisingly, the army of Xueyu was kneeling down before a young man and a young girl. Your Majesty the King, said the soldiers in unison. They all looked excited. Your Majesty the King. Lin Feng, suddenly, some people thought about something. King Lin Feng. King Lin Feng had come back. Get up, said Lin Feng in a gentle way, smiling. He looked friendly and easygoing. Lin Feng dragged Lu Fei with him and entered the palace. Cling cling, the metallic sound of the spears continued sounding as Lin Feng went further inside the palace. General Lin Feng was back. He was going to solve all their problems. Lin Feng inspected the palace with his godly awareness. His mother Yu Menghe and his father were in a pavilion, they were both frowning and looked unhappy. Xin Yi still looked pure and beautiful. She didn't seem to have grown any older, she was in her own courtyard painting. On her side, there were a few girls who looked slender and elegant, pretty and charming. Mr. Qi and Mr. Hua are still concocting potions, thought Lin Feng laughing. For Lin Feng, as long as everybody was alive, he was happy. For everything else, he was there, he could deal with it himself. Lin Feng raised his head, looked at the sky, smiled, took a deep breath and said, "I'm back. I'm back. I'm back." His voice invaded the entire palace and echoed about. Lin Hai and Yu Menghe immediately stopped talking. They suddenly turned around and ran in the direction of the voice. "Is that little Lin Feng's voice?" whispered Yu Menghe. She had tears in her eyes. Parents were always extremely worried about their children. How many nights were filled with nightmares, thinking the worst of things had happened to their son. They didn't care how strong Lin Feng was, they just wanted him to be alive and happy, he was still their baby. Xin Ye's paintbrush fell to the ground, she turned around and gazed into the distance. Suddenly, she also had tears in her eyes. Xiao Ye's eyes twinkled as she rose up in the air and shouted excitedly, "Brother!" "Lin Feng," whispered Yun Shi. She smiled in a resplendent way and gazed into the distance. Boom boom, the alchemy room exploded. The two old men glanced at each other and laughed, their faces were all black. Everybody started running around excitedly. King Lin Feng was back. Everything was going to be fine. The first person to make it to Lin Feng was Xiaoya. She descended from the sky and smiled at Lin Feng. Then, she ran towards him and hugged him. "Brother, finally, you're back." Lin Feng hugged her too and made a face, did she want to oppress him with her energies? "You're a grown girl now, you're not so shy anymore," said Lin Feng hugging Xiaoya. Xiaoya had become slender and elegant, she was almost as tall as him. "Well, who told you not to come back more often?" "I missed you so much," said Xiaoya blushing. Lin Feng and Lu Fei glanced at each other and laughed, Xiaoya was also shy. "Don't make fun of me," said Xiaoya. "All right, we're not," said Lin Feng while he caressed Xiaoya's hair. Then, he saw two more people arrive behind her. Lin Feng smiled in a resplendent way and said, "Dad, Mom. You're back, you're back." Yu Menghe wiped off her tears and smiled. "Little boy, you came back to see your old parents," said Lin Hai. Lin Feng smiled, everybody was happy and smiling. Someone else came out and she was beautiful, but had tears in her eyes. Duan Xin stopped and looked at Lin Feng, she wanted to talk, she wanted to say something for she had millions of things to tell Lin Feng, but in the end nothing came out. Lin Feng walked towards her and wiped off her tears, but she ended up crying even more. Xin fell in Lin Feng's arms and cried frantically. Chapter 1254, Astonishing the Family. "I'm back, it's alright," said Lin Feng in a gentle voice, caressing Xin's hair. Everybody was smiling in a resplendent way. They had smiled and laughed so happily since the last time they had seen Lin Feng. Lin Feng made them truly happy. "Fei Fei, you're back too," said Yu Menghe grabbing her hand and smiling in a resplendent way. "Auntie," said Lu Fei. She had a different feeling now. Since she was closer to Lin Feng, Yu Menghe was almost her mother now. "You've been through so much," said Yu Menghe with compassion, "you should call me something else though." Back then, Lu Fei had stayed alone in Lu Zonglan's grave and she had cried and cried. After Lin Feng left, Yu Menghe used to go and see her all the time. Then she had insisted that Lu Fei should spend time with Xin, but in the end, Lu Fei had decided to leave and go back to Duanren City. Yu Menghe could see that Lu Fei had changed though. She had come back with Lin Feng and she had noticed something different in Lu Fei's eyes. When Lu Fei heard Yu Meng He, she lowered her head shyly and said, "Mother." "Good girl," said Yu Meng He happily. She hugged Lu Fei and said, "From now on, Lin Hai and I are your mother and your father." She knew that Lu Fei had suffered a lot, like Xin Yi. Poor children. Xin Yi was born in a prestigious family and had been used by her family. She didn't have a mother, her father had died battling. Lin Feng was the only person they relied on, and now he was away most of the time. "Little Lin Feng is lucky," said Yu Meng He watching Lin Feng hug Xin Yi. Lin Feng was angry, he wasn't a baby anymore, but she looked at him in such a tender way that he felt happy. Xin Yi moved away from Lin Feng, wiped off her tears and smiled in a silly way. Her face was still red. "You have no tears left," said Lin Feng, caressing her cheeks and smiling. Lin Feng smiled and said, "Yun Shi, Yi Shui." They both smiled at him. "You're back, little boy," said two voices. Two silhouettes appeared in the sky and landed in front of them. They looked at him in a strange way and blushed. Lin Feng looked at their black faces. He was surprised, laughed, and said, "Mr. Qi, Mr. Hua, you should wash your face before coming out." Everybody burst into laughter when they heard Lin Feng. "You're both cultivators of the Tian Qi layer, you should pay attention to your appearance," said Lin Hai jokingly. "You shouted and made our concoction explode," said Mr. Qi. Everybody laughed even more. The two old men grinded their teeth. "Lin Feng, come, you have to tell us everything you saw while traveling," said Mr. Qi, looking at Lin Feng as if he had been looking at a treasure. "Little Lin Feng, I want to know too. What did you do abroad?" said Lin Hai. They couldn't see Lin Feng's cultivation level anymore, the difference was too great. Lin Feng was releasing no qi at all, he simply looked like an ordinary person, but they knew that Lin Feng had probably become a lot stronger. "Let's sit down and chat," said Lin Feng when he saw that everyone was so curious. Lin Feng and Duan Xin Yi sat down next to each other. Lu Fei sat down next to Duan Xin Yi, which made Lin Feng feel very happy. It meant that Xin Yi accepted Lin Feng and Lu Fei's relationship, just like she had accepted Lin Feng and Meng Qing's relationship. Now, they were all like sisters. Xiaoya left Lin Feng speechless, she went behind him and put her arms around him. In the central part of the continent, there is a province called the Ba Huang province. In the Ba Huang province, there are several regions: Central Ba Huang, the celestial part of Ba Huang, the brutal part of Ba Huang, the sanguinary part of Ba Huang, the northern, southern, eastern and western parts as well. Each region has its own groups of influence, including influential imperial groups. There are many strong cultivators, beasts, cultivation emperors, beast emperors. Lin Feng told them about those influential groups, about what he did while he was there, about Tian Tai, about his fellow disciples. Of course, Lin Feng didn't explain the details, he tried to only tell them things in a simple way. When Lin Feng said he had fought against Zun cultivators, the two old men's faces turned red, but it also made them want to become stronger. In the Ba Huang province, there was a powerful influential group called the Celestial Land of Alchemists that acted as a holy grounds for alchemists. They even had an emperor whose specialty was to concoct potions, pills and so on. There was Shui Bagio, the holy girl who had a celestial body. "Brother, after the celestial girl lost, did she really give you the pill? Did you save Meng Qing?" asked Xiaoya in Lin Feng's ears. Lin Feng nodded, "She did, but the members of the Celestial Land of Alchemists weren't happy and wanted to kill me." "Beautiful girls have emotions, why didn't you fool her, brother?" asked Xiaoya giggling. Lin Feng rolled his eyes. "How is Meng Qing now?" asked Xin Yi, she looked nervous. "She's good, she turned back into a human and now she's extremely talented now. She's still in Tian Tai practicing cultivation, and when you see her again, she will probably be a Zun cultivator," said Lin Feng smiling. A Zun cultivator, they were all astonished. So quickly. How incredible. I wouldn't have thought I'd have a Zune-level daughter-in-law so quickly, said Yu Menghe smiling. Zune cultivators were legendary cultivators to them, how strong. Little Lin Feng, what about your cultivation, asked Lin Hai. They couldn't see his cultivation level so he had to ask. 8th Tian Qi layer, whispered Xiaoya. Everybody was astonished. Was she joking? Lin Feng was astonished too. He looked at her and smiled. She quickly said, brother, I just said that randomly. Xiaoya, you're amazing, said Lin Feng caressing her head, to which she reacted by tapping his shoulders. Brother, I'm now a grown-up, you can't touch my hair like that. Are you not my sister anymore because you're a grown-up, said Lin Feng laughing. Little Lin Feng, have you really broken through to the 8th Tian Qi layer, asked Lin Hai in amazement. 8th Tian Qi layer, that was incredible. He might even become a Zune cultivator, like in the legends. That's right, said Lin Feng nodding, I still have some progress to make before breaking through to the Zune Qi layer though. That's fine, I trust you, sooner or later, you'll become a Zune cultivator and amaze everybody, said Lin Hai. In Shuiyu, for many people, the Tian Qi layer was an ultimate goal, but now his son had almost broken through to the Zune Qi layer and he was only in his early 20s. Humph. Lu Fei groaned, making Lin Feng smile. Fei, what's wrong? Asked Yu Menghe. Mother, Lin Feng is hiding the truth, said Lu Fei smiling. Is Lin Feng lying? Isn't he really a cultivator of the 8th Tian Qi layer? Lin Hai was staring at Lin Feng. If he hadn't broken through to the 8th Tian Qi layer, then was he closer to becoming a Zune cultivator? Father, said Lu Fei, making Lin Hai smile. You don't know this, but on the way from Duanren City to Yangzhou City, in the former imperial city, we encountered several Zune cultivators, said Lu Fei. And what happened? Asked Lin Hai. Lu Fei glanced at Lin Feng, smiled and said, Lin Feng cut a Zune cultivator's arm off in one strike. Lin Hai, Mr. Hua and so on were all astonished. Lin Feng had cut off a Zune cultivator's arm in one strike. Lin Feng had defeated a legendary cultivator in one strike. Little Lin Feng, tell us the truth, are you really a cultivator of the 8th Tian Qi layer? Asked Lin Hai. I am, said Lin Feng smiling wryly. Lin Hai was astonished. Father, I'm not done, said Lu Fei in a fragile voice. Lin Hai was surprised, what else? The others also looked at Lu Fei. Had he killed a Zune cultivator? After that, many Zune cultivators rose up in the air and released an incredible qi. I almost suffocated under their combined pressure. Everybody was listening, they were captivated. But Lin Feng said a few words and the Zune cultivators shut their mouths, a Zune cultivator even slapped his own face. Chapter 1255, Peaceful Times. Lin Hai and the others looked at Lin Feng in a strange way. Was he that strong? Little Lin Feng, after Fortune City, did anything happen? Asked Lin Hai curiously. Long story made short, a lot happened in Fortune City and I became stronger. Besides that, there's no need to mention the details, otherwise I could talk for days and days, said Lin Feng laughing. Suddenly, his facial expression became very serious. Then he asked, Dad, I heard some people wanted to attack our palace. Lin Feng had wanted to ask the entire time, but everybody was so happy that he didn't want to ruin such a precious moment. Lin Hai remained silent for a few seconds, nodded and said, Lin Feng, in Yangzhou City, many strong cultivators have appeared. Many Zune cultivators are in the villages and there are 3 powerful groups who want to invade our palace. They gave us 3 days to leave, otherwise they'd kill us. Kill them? Lin Feng looked furious. Besides, they couldn't do that thanks to the deployment spell in the first place, otherwise, they would have already invaded the palace. They even killed a few Qi Xie soldiers, said Lin Hai. When Lin Feng was there, Lin Hai dealt with the affairs of the country. He had faced those strong cultivators and felt weak in front of them. He could only depend on the deployment spell. If we leave, we won't have the deployment spell anymore, so they can't decide what they want to do, said Lin Feng. I was wondering if having as many people as possible come into the area of the deployment spell, but if a strong cultivator manages to break it, then they'll kill us all, and even if they didn't manage to break it, we can't stay in there forever, said Lin Hai. That's a dilemma, said Mr. Hu sighing. They were weak, so they were stuck. 3 days you said Lin Feng. Little Lin Feng, you can't fight, said Yu Menghe in a fragile voice. There are so many Zun cultivators. Even though you're strong and can defeat a few Zun cultivators, you can't deal with Zun cultivators from 3 monumental influential groups. We can only hide and try to find another solution. If nothing works, we'll have to hide in the area of the deployment spell and see how long they will stay in Yangzhou City, said Lin Hai. He also hoped Lin Feng wouldn't fight. You need to become stronger, Lin Feng, said Mr. Qi. Lin Feng smiled. He knew everybody was worried about him. Besides, I sent some people around to scout the country. They're not only in Yangzhou City, they're everywhere in the country. The strongest cultivators, surprisingly, are where you used to study, in the Yunhai mountain range. I don't know how they go there though. They're from the Ba Huang province, like me, said Lin Feng smiling. No wonder they're so strong. They from Ba Huang. Little Lin Feng, don't fight, alright? You need time. First things first, are we staying or are we leaving? We'll listen to you. Lin Hai was terribly worried. Dad, I understand, said Lin Feng nodding. He didn't explain much because his parents were too worried anyways. Alright, little Lin Feng, you came all the way from Ba Huang province, so you've had a long trip and must be tired. Stay with Xinyi. Yu Meng, he said smiling. Feng had his own way of doing things. She had told her son her opinion, so now Lin Feng could decide what he wanted to do. Little Lin Feng, Meng Qing, Xinyi, and Fei Fei are all happy to have you in their life. You have to be a responsible man, she said, this time using telepathy. Her son had so many beautiful women, she was happy and proud, but she also hoped he was a responsible husband. Lin Hai and her had been separated for a long time, so she didn't hope the same would happen to Lin Feng and the women who loved him. Mom, I understand, said Lin Feng. Yu Menghe glanced at him and smiled. Then, she said to Xinyi and Lu Fei, Xinyi, Fei Fei, enjoy your time with little Lin Feng. Then, they left. Mr. Qi and Mr. Hua smiled and left Lin Feng alone with the girls. Xinyi and Lu Fei looked at Yu Menghe in a shy way. Lin Feng looked at Xinyi, Xinyi, you've gone through so much. Xinyi put her hand on Lin Feng's mouth and said, you're back, I'm so happy. Let's go, there. Xinyi dragged Lin Feng to make him stand up and then walked to Lu Fei and grabbed her hand. Fei Fei, you're going to live with me too, right? Lu Fei used to live in the general's headquarters, but now, it was best for her to move on from those sad things. Thank you, said Lu Fei to Xinyi. We're a family, don't say thank you. We're sisters now, so let's go. The two girls were holding hands and had almost forgot about Lin Feng, making him smile wryly. Brother, I'm still the best for you, said Xiaoyet jumping on Lin Feng's back. Right, you're the best, said Lin Feng. She looked so slender and elegant, and at the same time she also acted like a kid. That was strange. Xinyi liked silence and elegance, so the place she had settled inside the palace had a river, a cave, some stones, and trees. Xiaoye and Yunxi also lived with Xinyi. A few girls together, living a happy life and not thinking about any of the sad things. No hot spring, said Lin Feng smiling, making Xinyi's face turn red. Tonight, Fei Fei and I will share a bed. You can sleep in the bamboo forest, said Xinyi. Lin Feng smiled. He had just come back, so why was she so cruel? There should be space for a third person, whispered Lin Feng. Xinyi gulped down and said, you're so indecent. Fei Fei, come with me and just ignore him. Xin Yi and Lu Fei walked towards the cave and left Lin Feng behind. Like in the past, when Xin Yi and Meng Qing were together, they ignored him. Master, you can sleep in my bed and I can share a bed with Yun Shi, said Yi Shui. She couldn't help it when she saw Lin Feng smile wryly. Lin Feng looked at the sky and nodded, all right, thank you Yi Shui. Don't say thank you, you're the master and I'm your servant. I'll clean the room for you even, said Yi Shui running ahead, followed by Yun Shi. Lin Feng looked at Xiaoya and asked, Xiaoya, do you miss your grandpa? Xiaoya remained silent and nodded. We'll go and see him together, sooner or later, said Lin Feng caressing her head. Yep, we have to become even stronger first. There are many powerful cultivators in the holy city. Until you go there, you won't understand what a powerful place it is. It's even more incredible than the Ba Huang province, said Xiaoya giggling. Xiaoya, you should become stronger too, good luck, said Lin Feng smiling. Lin Feng was becoming stronger and stronger, so he knew even more things. Back then, Mr. Xiao had given him a talisman. It wasn't complete but it contained a thread of godly awareness, and even though it was only a thread, Mr. Xiao had terrified a Zun cultivator. Mr. Xiao's strength must be unfathomable. Chapter 1256, Xin Ye's path. Lin Feng was lying on a bed that night, his eyes were open and he was enjoying the calmness of the night. Unfortunately, those next several days weren't going to be peaceful, especially in the Yunhai mountain range. So for the time being, he wanted to enjoy the calmness and peacefulness of being with his friends and family. Lin Feng heard the door, smiled and closed his eyes. Xin Ye's head poked in. She slowly walked towards him and lied down next to Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng acted as if he was sound asleep. You're pretending, said Xin Yi unhappily, and then she shook Lin Feng. Lin Feng burst into laughter, he grabbed her head and dragged her to him. What, you missed me, said Lin Feng holding her tight. She turned red and nodded. And you're sleeping here happily, but you didn't even come to look for me, said Xin Yi unhappily. I was afraid to be indecent, said Lin Feng. Humph. Lin Feng pulled her face to his and kissed her lips. Xin Yi became petrified, her eyes were suddenly filled with endless love and passion. Lin Feng put his hands on her face and said, Xin Yi, how come you've become so strong? Lin Feng thought that the strongest cultivator of the palace was neither his father, his mother, Mr. Qi nor Mr. Hua, but Xin Yi. She had already broken through to the 5th Tian Qi layer, a few more levels and she'd start scaring Xueyu with her cultivation level alone. How come though? After all, in the past, she didn't like practicing cultivation that much. Xin Yi looked at him in a strange way as if she wasn't sure either. I don't know either. Suddenly, it was as if someone had taught me cultivation, and suddenly my skills were getting even better. Lin Feng was surprised. How strange. Xin Yi and Xin had so many things in common and they looked exactly the same. Lin Feng, what's wrong? Xin Yi asked because Lin Feng had suddenly looked strange. I'm alright, said Lin Feng in a gentle way. Xin Yi just smiled in a gentle way. Lin Feng, Fei Fei is still in my room, I'll sleep here, you go and join her, said Xin Yi pushing Lin Feng. Lin Feng shook his head, smiled and said, you came here, do you want to escape from the devil now? Mwahaha. Xin Ye's face turned completely red when she heard him. Lin Feng's hand slid into her clothes. Xin Yi turned her head and she didn't look at him, her face was extremely red. Lin Feng was terribly aroused. He was moving slowly as he grabbed her head and made her turn around. Then he kissed her passionately. At the same time, he put his hand on her perfect breasts and touched her gently, making her moan. Xin Yi put her arms around Lin Feng, slowly getting into the mood. Lin Feng slowly took her clothes off, they took each other in the arms and became one. Xin Yi, said Lin Feng while he was on top of Xinyi. Xinyi opened her eyes and looked at Lin Feng. Xinyi, no matter what happens, you must remember that I love you deeply, you're my beloved wife, said Lin Feng, while continuing to make love with her. All right. I know, said Xinyi dragging Lin Feng close to her again. She only loved Lin Feng. He was the closest person she had in her life. Xinyi didn't try to hide her moaning, her voice was loud and could be heard all around, even outside of the room. Lin Feng, that's my world, make love to me like a beast, said Xinyi. She was terribly aroused, her voice incredibly arousing too. Lin Feng then made love to her with even more passion. After a long time, they stopped and snuggled, it all felt like a dream. Xinyi was in Lin Feng's arm, she was sweating, and her face was red. She felt shy after finishing and didn't dare look at Lin Feng. Lin Feng didn't say anything, he just held Xinyi in his arms and caressed her. A moment before, while they were making love, it seemed like they had ended up in another world. Xinyi seemed like she had learned how to create a parallel world. Lin Feng had also learned how to cast territorial spells when he had broken through to the 5th Tian Qi layer, but he didn't ask her about that. Instead, he just held her tight, as if he were scared that she would leave him. Humans belong to the earth belongs to the sky follows Taoism, and Taoism follows nature. Nothing controls anything, nature takes its course, the heart and the mind, feelings and desires, let us awake to the truth and attain enlightenment, said Xinyi raising her head and looking at Lin Feng. Nature didn't oppress the heart and the mind, it didn't oppress desires and feelings, everything was natural, the 10,000 things of creation were part of nature. No wonder Xinyi had become so strong, her ways of thinking had changed completely. She had already started walking on the path of enlightenment. You've become so strong, my little Xinyi, said Lin Feng smiling. Xinyi smiled, she was still very pure, she was in love, and Lin Feng acknowledging her. My silly girl, said Lin Feng cuddling with Xinyi. Then, they fell asleep, relaxed and happy. Nothing could pollute their thoughts. That night, Lin Feng slept great. When he woke up, Xinyi was already dressed and sitting next to him, she was caressing his hair and looking at him. Xinyi, I want to do it again, said Lin Feng jokingly. Xinyi blushed and rolled her eyes, hurry up and get out of bed. I need to clean the room, it's Yi Shui's room. Lin Feng smiled wryly and got up. He had forgotten it was Yi Shui's room. After a short while, they finished cleaning the room and got out. Brother, said Xiaoya as if she had been waiting outside for a while. She then looked at Xinyi, her eyes were twinkling as she said, Xinyi, the clothes you put on today look really nice. Xinyi blushed when she heard that. Xiaoya laughed and walked towards Lin Feng, she grabbed his hand and said, Brother, yesterday evening, you had your fun with Xinyi, so today, you have to stay with me because we rarely do things together. Alright, we can spend some time together, said Lin Feng caressing her head. And Yun Shi and Yi Shui also want to come, said Xiaoya giggling. Alright, all together, said Lin Feng nodding. He hadn't had any time to walk around in Yangzhou City yet. Lin Feng was happy to walk around, explore, see his city. After 2 days, he would start taking care of personal matters again. He was wondering what it looked like inside the Yunhai mountain range. There were still strong cultivators in Yangzhou City though, he had to see what he could do about that. If something happened in Yangzhou City, the whole country would be in trouble. Early in the morning, inside Yangzhou City, it was particularly calm and peaceful. They were walking on the main road, the breeze was brushing against their bodies. What a beautiful girl, who is that young man? He looks extraordinary and rich, thought some people. A man and a few beautiful girls walking on the street, how could people not notice that? Besides, they seemed quite close. Amongst the 2 most beautiful girls, one looked natural and pure, the other looked hot and seducing. There was also a slender and elegant girl. "Brother, look," said Xiaoya running towards a vendor's booth. There were all sorts of things there, hairpins, toys, etc. In Yangzhou City, there were many stands with such things, but in the Ba Huang province, such things were extremely rare. Lin Feng felt calm and peaceful. People in Yangzhou City were stronger than they used to be. Lin Feng looked at Xiaoya and felt happy. Trot, 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 in the distance, there were horses sprinting. The leaders were a young man and a young girl. The young man looked extraordinary while the girl looked heroic. She was wearing a fiery red robe and she was beautiful, but looked indifferent. "That's Lin Qian, the beautiful girl from the Lin clan." Unfortunately, the Lin clan expelled Lin Feng in the past, otherwise Yangzhou City would be theirs, thought some people when they saw that girl. In the past, the Lin clan had expelled Lin Feng and then he had started rising and ruling over Shuiyu. Everybody knew that stuff. Everybody talked about the legendary Lin Feng when having a cup of tea or a meal with friends and family. Of course, sometimes people also thought about Lin Qian. Apart from Lin Feng, she was the strongest cultivator of the Lin clan. Especially those days, since Lin Qian had come back to the Lin clan, she had become quite strong. Chapter 1257, Gathering in the Palace. Lin Feng also noticed the girl in red, riding a horse. He looked calm and yet, a bit surprised. Lin Qian, thought Lin Feng. Seeing her made him remember a lot of things. Lin Qian used to be the most dazzling young cultivator of the Lin clan and she used to despise him. She had even made friends with Chu Zhanpeng, who was a great cultivator, until Lin Feng took care of him. Now, Lin Qian had already broken through to the Tian Qi layer, but she hadn't broken through to the Tian Qi layer for a long time yet. In fact, her qi appeared rigid. For Lin Feng, that was nothing, but for the Lin clan, that was incredible and they felt terribly proud to have such a cultivator. Lin Qian made her horse stop not far from Lin Feng and she looked at him. Lin Feng looked confident and at ease, handsome, and as young as before. However, his qi had changed. Back then, Lin Feng looked excited and impulsive, now he looked calm, almost like he was at peace with himself. Lin Qian didn't know what to think. "I can't see how strong he is," thought Lin Qian, disappointed. She had practiced cultivation diligently to surpass him and she was full of hope, but now she couldn't see how strong he was, so he was probably a medium-level Tian cultivator. "Do you know him?" asked the young man next to Lin Qian. Surprisingly, in Shuiyu, there was another young man who looked like he had power and influence. He was also surrounded by many beautiful girls, none of them were any weaker than Lin Qian. "I don't," said Lin Qian indifferently and calmly. Then, that young man smiled coldly and trotted towards Lin Feng. "Piss off," shouted that young man in a cold way. He punched the air in front of him and a hand appeared. Lin Qian looked at the young man, she appeared emotionless, but on the inside, she was happy. She still couldn't defeat Lin Feng, but the young man who was with her probably could, he had to be stronger. An illusion appeared and a strong wind started blowing. Slash, Lin Feng performed a hand knife strike in the air. The illusion disappeared and the wind stopped blowing. He stopped the horse and sword qi emerged. The horse neighed and collapsed, dead. The young man frowned, jumped forwards and threw himself at Lin Feng like a ferocious animal. "You're acting recklessly," shouted that young man furiously. Golden lights appeared around his hand. Lin Feng stretched out his hand slowly. When the young man saw that Lin Feng was still calm and indifferent, it made him even more furious. "Gotcha!" A subtle sound spread in the air and then the young man gave a horrible shriek. Lin Feng grabbed him by the throat and was holding him in the air. "Ah!" the young man kept shouting furiously. His hand was broken, his face was deathly pale, and he was suffocating. "You dare attack me," said the young man whose eyes were now bloodshot. He was glaring at Lin Feng. In a feudal country such as Shuiyu, someone dared attack him and break his hand. He was acting arrogantly as if he had forgotten what had just happened. Lin Feng didn't say anything, he just violently threw the young man to the ground, causing the ground to break. A crater appeared, blood splashed, and the young man coughing out blood. His face was completely white and his organs were torn to shreds. Lin Qian was astonished and shaking. How was that possible? She knew how strong that young man was, he had broken through to the 7th Tian Qi layer. How could Lin Feng defeat him in one strike? Lin Feng, stop, shouted Lin Qian when she saw that Lin Feng was walking towards that young man again. Lin Feng looked at her and said indifferently, may I help you? You can't offend him. You don't want anything to happen to your family and friends, so stop, shouted Lin Qian. That young man's clan had invaded the Lin clan, if anything happened to him while she was having a walk with him, something bad could happen to the Lin clan. I can't offend him, said Lin Feng indifferently. Then, Yishui said to Lin Feng using telepathy, young master, I've seen him before, he's from one of the 3 powerful families who threatened our government. Lin Feng looked at Lin Qian in a cold way, making her feel scared. If the Lin clan gets involved, I won't be as merciful as I may have been, said Lin Feng. Lin Qian ran towards the young man who was shouting in pain. Lin Feng, that's the king of Shuiyu, that's Lin Feng. No wonder he's with so many beautiful girls, our king is back. Many people noticed them after Lin Qian shouted his name, everybody knew who he was. Also, everybody knew that some people were threatening the imperial palace of Shuiyu. Now that Lin Feng was back, what would happen? Ah, that young man realized his cultivation had been crippled, so he was furious. For someone from the Ba Huang province, having your cultivation crippled was a nightmare, it was the same as being dead or a piece of trash. What a humiliation. I'll destroy your whole family and clan, said the young man furiously. You'll regret Lin Feng, said Lin Qian pulling a long face. If the young man's clan was furious, for her, it would be a nightmare. I don't need you to worry about me, said Lin Feng indifferently. Then, he kicked the young man whose body flew away in Lin Qian's direction. Lin Qian caught him and Lin Feng said, piss off. Trot. Her horse left with the young man. Then she said, you will regret this. Lin Feng didn't pay any attention to her. Since Lin Feng knew that young man was from one of the 3 groups of influence who threatened the country, it was an even better reason to cripple his cultivation. Lin Feng looked at the girl feeling sorry. He smiled and said, it seems like we're good for today. Oh no, said Xiaoya annoyed. They already had to go back. King Lin Feng is back. Let's go to the palace to see those 3 influential groups. Now that Lin Feng has offended one of them, the consequences will be tragic. Maybe the king will just hide in the protected area, thought some people watching Lin Feng leave. Even though their king was strong, there were so many Zun cultivators, so what could he do against them? Lin Qian went back to the Lin clan and told the young man's family that some people from the government of Yangzhou had crippled his cultivation. Then, many people left the Lin clan and flew towards the imperial palace of Shuiyu. After they left, Lin Qian told her clan that the one who had crippled the young man's cultivation was Lin Feng. Her clan still had mixed feelings about him. Last time, Lin Feng had amazed the whole country, and the whole town. Some of them hoped that Lin Feng would come back to their clan, but they had been too unfair to Lin Feng and his father. How could Lin Feng go back to the Lin clan? Yangzhou city was too small for Zun cultivators. When the 2 other groups of influence heard about what was happening, they also went to the government. They wouldn't have to wait 2 more days it seemed. Everybody was going to the governmental buildings now. Chapter 1258, Sharing the Imperial Palace. After Lin Feng went back to the governmental buildings, Lin Feng made everyone get inside the protection area, he didn't want them to get injured or killed. After all, they couldn't compete with Zun cultivators. 3 powerful groups with Zun cultivators, even though the people of Yangzhou City had accepted their presence for a while, they were scared that they could destroy the country. "Little Feng, you're going to do something. Luckily, you gave us time to get prepared," said Lin Hai. He sounded extremely worried. Lin Feng smiled and said nothing. He took out a sword talisman. With Jiang's speed, no matter who had arrived first, whether they had used the Tian Su teleportation portal or not, everybody should be in Shuiyu now, including Jiang. Dealing with 3 powerful groups shouldn't be a problem, and after dealing with those people, he'd have to go to the Yunhai mountain range. The palace wasn't guarded by enough strong cultivators, so Lin Feng intended to make some strong cultivators from Jiang protect the palace of Yangzhou City and the valleys of Shuiyu. Plops. Lin Feng broke the talisman and smiled. Invading his palace wouldn't be that easy. If they want to attack, they can. "We'll just stay in the protected area, but I don't think they'll stay in Yangzhou City forever," whispered Yu Menghe. Lin Hai nodded and said, "I wouldn't have thought that a powerful group would stay at the Lins. I hope they're not plotting something." Even though the Lin clan despised Lin Hai, he had their blood after all. "Get the hell out of there! Get the hell out of there! Get the hell out of there!" An extremely loud voice echoed, making the palace shake. "They arrived quickly," whispered Lin Hai. The Imperial Guards were at the front of the protected area while Lin Hai and the others were on the edges. Between them, there was nothing. The first powerful group to arrive was the group which had stayed at the Lins. The young man whose cultivation had been crippled by Lin Feng was there too, but someone was helping him walk. "Dad, that's him. Help me destroy him," said the young man. Lin Feng had crippled his cultivation, so there would be no mercy. At that moment, Lin Hai had activated the deployment spell and oppressive energies invaded the area. Even Zun cultivators couldn't break that spell. "Do you think that you can hide in that protection spell?" said the young man's father. "Initially, I wanted to scare you away, but since you're asking for it, I'll kill you all regardless." "Dad, I want all those girls," said the young man pointing at the beautiful women standing behind Lin Feng. "All right, I'll give them all to you," said that Zun cultivator. "Are you done talking shit?" said Lin Feng indifferently. "If you want to attack, can you hurry up, please?" said Lin Feng, further infuriating those people. The young man's father turned around and said, "Let's surround the protected area and set the walls on fire, we'll slowly burn them to death like roasted pigs." "All right." "What a bunch of reckless insects," said someone else. They couldn't imagine that such a small country would dare offend them. Besides, they called that building an imperial palace, something belonging to a king. How can they be so ignorant? A second powerful group arrived. "Remember, do not destroy the buildings, even though a bunch of insects live here, the buildings are extremely beautiful. In the future, this territory will be ours," said one of the leaders. "Bunch of ignorant insects, we gave you time and you still didn't get the hell out of there," said someone from the third powerful group, just now arriving. Someone from another of the two groups said, "How should we share that imperial palace after we're done?" "It's big enough, we can divide it into 3 parts, suggested someone else. "All right, I don't mind. We can join hands to destroy the deployment spell and then, those who kill the most people can choose whatever part they want first." "What do you think?" asked the young man's father. Join hands to break the deployment spell. People in the protected area looked terrified. Could so many strong cultivators break the deployment spell? Were they going to die? The crowd outside of the governmental buildings and in the city center were also terrified. "All right, they're only a bunch of insects. We gave them an opportunity and they let it slip, so let's kill them." At that moment, Lin Qian and the Lin clan arrived too. The government of Yangzhou City could be destroyed at any moment, so they had mixed feelings. "I told you that you would regret what you did and now you're going to die," said Lin Qian. She wanted to fight on the young man's side now, otherwise, his clan would be offended and they'd kill them. Lin Feng looked at her and smiled indifferently. "Stop overthinking things." Lin Feng was surprisingly remaining calm under this pressure, does he have that much faith in his deployment spell, wondered many people outside of the palace. Last time King Lin Feng came back, he surprised all of us, thought many people. You're dull and stupid. You want to bring about your own destruction, said Lin Qian. But Lin Feng didn't look at her, he just smiled indifferently. Jianghe people had arrived already. Lin Feng turned to the three powerful groups, rose up in the air and left the protected area. Little Lin Feng, shouted Lin Hai, he didn't understand what he was doing. Little Lin Feng, what are you doing? Asked Yu Meng He, she was also scared. Lin Feng, shouted Xin Yi. But Lin Feng turned around, smiled at them in a resplendent way and said, don't worry, just leave them to me. His smile was full of confidence. He came out, the crowd was surprised, also wondering what he was doing. He's insane. Tap, tap, Lin Feng continued to walk in their direction. Father, said the young man whose cultivation had been crippled. He couldn't wait to see Lin Feng die. Who wants to have him? Don't kill him, just cut off his arms and capture him, said the young man's father. Lin Feng stopped and raised his head, looking at the three groups. Then, he said indifferently, I hope you remember what you just said because I will. The enemies were surprised. What a naive guy, thought some people. How could Lin Feng be so confident? How stupid. A Zun cultivator came out and looked at Lin Feng in a disdainful way, little boy, you are just a frog in a well. He condensed fire energies in his hand and the temperature suddenly increased. Then, he threw a fireball and launched himself at Lin Feng. A Zun cultivator, according to legends, can destroy countless people in a single punch, thought the crowd. Chapter 1259, Jianghe's intervention. Lin Feng rose up in the air and raised his fist at the fireball. Suddenly, a gigantic black hand appeared which blotted out the sky. The fireball seemingly couldn't move forwards as the terrifying demonic chi rolled in waves in the air. Kaboom, the two hands collided. The Zun cultivator's attack was blocked and destroyed. The Zun cultivator gave a horrible shriek as his arm exploded. His face was now deathly pale. A strong wind brushed against his body. He lowered his head just in time to see a fist reach his chest. Then his organs were crushed. His body fell down and the atmosphere was suddenly eerily silence. They were all staring at Lin Feng. He had killed a Zun cultivator in one punch. Our king, the Qi Xie inside the protected area were amazed. One strike. One shot. That was their general, their king. Little Feng is so strong, he can kill ordinary Zun cultivators in one punch. But there are so many strong cultivators here, thought Lin Hai and Yu Meng He, still extremely nervous. They were proud, but at the same time, there were so many strong cultivators in front of them. Boom boom, boom boom. Lin Qian's heart suddenly started pounding, like it was going to explode. All the other members of the Lin clan felt exactly the same. They knew Lin Feng's past better than anyone else. Now, the piece of trash they had expelled from the clan could kill legendary Zun cultivators in one punch. Dad, one person isn't enough, you should join hands or you should make a cultivator of the second Zun Qi layer attack him. That should be enough to destroy him easily, said the young man. His father nodded and said, unfortunately, we found a beast here, but as before, he has to die. Who wants to kill him this time? I'm going, said a cultivator of the second Zun Qi layer. He released Qi and was quickly bathing in a golden fire Qi. There were a few black dots in his fire as well. Killing a cultivator of the 8th Tian Qi layer is no problem for you, but you shouldn't underestimate him, said the young man's father using telepathy. I know, I will use a cosmos burning punch and kill him in a single punch, said that cultivator. The young man's father nodded. The cosmos burning punch contained fire abstruse energies, so it was extremely powerful. He landed in front of Lin Feng. Die, shouted that cultivator furiously. A gigantic cosmos-burning punch appeared and descended from the sky. The ground began charring under its heat. Die, yelled the young man. Everybody was expecting the worst for Lin Feng. However, a dazzling sword appeared in the sky. It descended and cleaved the cosmos-burning punch in half, and the silhouette in the sky strangely stopped moving. What's going on? That sword attack was so fast, the crowd was shook. Blood splattered, causing the crowd to hold their breaths. The silhouette in the sky was a cultivator of the second Zun Qi layer. He and his fire had been cut in two. How strong, thought those from Yangzhou City. Lin Qian and the Lin clan were surprised again. Lin Feng had become so strong that they couldn't even imagine what it was like to be that strong. Some of them honestly believed that they were dreaming. You're not from here. You're from abroad, said the young man's father, trying to judge Lin Feng. Lin Feng had only broken through to the 8th Tian Qi layer and was already an incredible fighter. Even the 10 strongest young cultivators from the Ba Huang province weren't capable of that. Does that matter? Said Lin Feng, sounding indifferent. He glanced over the 3 powerful groups. Kill him, together, said the young man. His father looked at the 2 other powerful groups and said, don't you have some strong cultivators? But the leader from one of the groups frowned. A cultivator of the 8th Tian Qi layer had killed a cultivator of the 2nd Zun Qi layer using only a sword. There was one person that fit that description in the Ba Huang province. We only came here for one thing. How could we steal other people's territories, said that person smiling. They had all agreed that they wanted to kill them all and share their territory, but now he wanted to back off. Even if Lin Feng was able to kill cultivators of the 2nd Zun Qi layer, that was no reason to run away now. What do you mean? Asked the young man's father. Then, he looked at the leader from the other group and he frowned too. Then, he looked at Lin Feng again and thought about something. Your Excellency, who are you? Whoever had just talked realized something after hearing that question. He was suddenly furious. What a moron. He then hastily said, I have nothing to do with what happened today. I'm off. Wait, said Lin Feng. That person looked upset and glanced at the young man's father furiously. Now he wants to go, thought Lin Feng, smiling coldly. He said indifferently, if you want to leave, try and see what happens, said Lin Feng. He slowly turned around, his mouth twitched, and he said to Lin Feng, I just came to watch as a guest. Please forgive me if I said anything that offended you. As a guest, said Lin Feng, smiling joyfully. Lin Feng wanted to play, to have some fun. He could use them now, so why not enjoy it? What's his name? Asked the young man's father as if he had thought about something. He looked terribly unhappy and was glaring at Lin Qian. Lin Qian looked skeptical. What was wrong with those people? Why had they changed their opinions so suddenly? Lin Feng, said Lin Qian. Only 2 words, but they were 2 explosions in their hearts. That young man was Lin Feng. The people from Yangzhou City saw how astonished those people were and how vast their facial expressions changed. What was going on? Why did 3 powerful groups react like that? Even the young man whose cultivation had been crippled by Lin Feng looked terrified, his face turned deathly pale. Lin Qian couldn't know that Lin Feng's name could have such repercussions. Lin Feng's parents also looked astonished. Was Lin Feng that famous? Lin Hai looked at Lu Fei and remembered what she had told him about encountering some Zun cultivators on their way over. Is little Lin Feng famous in the Ba Huang province? Whispered Lin Hai. At that moment, Lin Feng gazed into the distance and recognized some sword qi whistling. Then, some silhouettes pierced through the clouds and quickly made their way over. What a terrifying group of people, thought the crowd, shaking. The faces of the 3 powerful groups suddenly turned deathly pale, like sheets of paper. Those people were from Jianghe. Chapter 1260, The Slaves. Oh no, Such bad luck, thought the people from the three powerful groups. They knew that they were facing Lin Feng, so now they knew that those people who were arriving were from Jiang'e. They regretted everything now. Who could have thought that Lin Feng, a genius who had recently risen in the Ba Huang province, would appear in the imperial palace of Shuiyu? Besides, it seemed like Lin Feng was from there, that tiny country. A cultivator from such a small country has amazed everyone in the Ba Huang province. How had Lin Feng ended up in Ba Huang? The crowd looked at the arriving cultivators. There were 36 strong cultivators in total. They all bowed in front of Lin Feng at the same time and shouted in unison, "Young master." Lin Feng was the leader of those terrifyingly strong people. Gotcha! Lin Hai clenched his fists and his bones crackled. He couldn't believe his eyes. Yu Menghe, Xin Yi and all the others were completely dumbstruck. The Qi Xie army, everyone in the palace was astonished and had the feeling they were suffocating. Their general, their king, had conquered other territories and possessed other armies. Was that why those three powerful groups seemed terrified after hearing Lin Feng's name? Shuiyu, Lin Feng, why isn't it, Lin Clan, Lin Feng, instead? Thought the Lin Clan. Lin Feng looked calm and serene. He looked at the 36 strong cultivators. "Surround them," demanded Lin Feng. "Roger, young master," said the strong cultivators from Jiang'e. Their sword and their silhouettes flickered as they surrounded the three powerful groups. "Lin Feng, your excellency, I just told you we only came as guests, please forgive us," said one of the leaders smiling. But Lin Feng ignored him and said, "If anyone takes one step, kill them." "Roger," said the strong cultivators from Jiang'e. How strong are the cultivators who call Lin Feng young master, thought the crowd. They were curious now. They couldn't know who those strong cultivators from Jiang'e were. They could only use their eyes to make guesses. "Lin Feng, your excellency, what can we do for you to forgive us?" "We'll do anything," said the strong cultivator when he saw that Lin Feng wasn't listening to him. Lin Feng ignored him again. Those people wanted to kill his friends and family a moment before. The enemies noticed one particular person from Jiang'e, an old man that they had seen before. He was one of the senior officials of Jiang'e, an extremely strong Zun cultivator. He was a lot stronger than some of the Zun cultivators who were at Mr. Wen's birthday ceremony. He might have already broken through to the 8th Zun Qi layer. "Can you keep those people under control?" asked Lin Feng to the older Zun cultivator. Even though those people should die, they could also become slaves and protect the palace. In Jiang'e, we have a godly awareness technique where we can divide into many swords and control people's godly awareness, but the caster's godly awareness must be stronger than the enemy's. Therefore, only cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer can control them, replied the old man from Jiang'e respectfully. "Apart from you, are there any other cultivators of the top of the Zun Qi layer?" asked Lin Feng. "Jian Ling Kong, Jian Ling Shao," shouted the senior official loudly. Two silhouettes flickered and landed in front of Lin Feng. They shouted in unison, "At your service, young master." Two more cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer, thought Lin Feng. He was satisfied. 3 cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer was already incredible, even in the Ba Huang province. "I'm going to ask you something, did they get involved in your plan to invade the imperial palace?" asked Lin Feng pointing at Lin Qian and the Lin clan. If they had accepted to help them, Lin Feng would never forgive them. "It has nothing to do with them," said the young man's father honestly. "Lin Feng, your excellency, we made a mistake and we are willing to give you all our treasures. Please forgive us and let us go, don't take over our godly awareness." "Control your godly awareness," whispered Lin Feng. He smiled coldly and said, "You wanted to kill us, and those who would kill the most would choose their territories first, but now, you want to live? That's ridiculous. I don't want to see any blood lost," said Lin Feng indifferently to the senior official from Jiang'e. The senior official understood and shook his hand, "I want you to work cleanly. Slash, slash, sword chi dashed to the skies. The 30-something cultivators' silhouettes flickered and the enemies' faces turned deathly pale. No, shouted someone furiously. They wanted to escape, but their sword chi was overwhelming. The sword lights quickly disappeared, but there were still trails of sword chi left in the air. The crowd realized that nobody was left on the side of the young man's group. Just like Lin Feng had said, there was no blood at all. Those people who call Lin Feng young master are terrifying, thought the crowd. You two, take a group each and take control over them, said Lin Feng to Jian Ling Kong and Jian Ling Shao. Roger, young master, said those two cultivators nodding in unison. One landed in front of a group, and the other in front of the another group. The two cultivators at the top of the Zun Chi layer released their godly awareness towards their third eyes. After taking control of all those people, they could see everything they were doing. If they ever betrayed them, the strong cultivators from Jianya could simply kill them. From now on, they were slaves. I will give you 10 years. During those 10 years, you'll work for the imperial palace of Shuiyu. After those 10 years, I will let you go. Of course, in 10 years, if I consider that you haven't taken your duty seriously, don't blame for being merciless. Said Lin Feng indifferently. Their life was in Lin Feng's hands. Jian Ling Kong, Jian Ling Shao, you two stay in the imperial palace for now and protect the people who live there, said Lin Feng to the two cultivators of the top of the Zun Chi layer. There were still some problems to solve in Shuiyu, so for the time being, Lin Feng had to make sure Yangzhou City was safe. Roger, young master, said Jian Ling Kong and Jian Ling Shao. You bring the others to the Yunhai mountain range, don't fight anyone else and wait for my orders, said Lin Feng to the senior official of Jianghe. He nodded and left with the rest of the group. They were now heading for the Yunhai mountain range. Chapter 1261, Going to the Yunhai mountain range, they left, thought the crowd, both astonished and confused still. Dad, said Lin Feng. Lin Hai came to him and smiled. Lin Feng walked towards his dad and glanced at the two powerful groups coldly. They were all dumbstruck and shaking, they still couldn't believe that they had become slaves. From now on, you will obey my father, understood, said Lin Feng. Those people's mouths twitched, but then they saw Lin Feng's eyes filled with murder, so they immediately nodded one after the other, we understand. Dad, if any one of them disobeys, tell those two and they'll kill them, said Lin Feng to his father. Lin Feng had never thought that someday, he'd have Zun cultivators as slaves. If there is anything you don't understand about cultivation, you can also ask them anything, said Lin Feng. Lin Hai smiled, indeed, they could learn a lot to learn from Zun cultivators. Lin Feng looked at Lin Qian and the Lin clan. They didn't belong to the same world anymore. Piss off, shouted Lin Feng to Lin Qian. Lin Feng then turned around and didn't look at her again. She should have been happy that Lin Feng didn't kill them, but she was sad. Lin Feng looked at her with despise each time he saw her. She had taken such great efforts to become stronger, and because of that she thought she'd be able to catch up with him at some point, but the difference was now too great. She turned around, looking extremely depressed and left. The Lin clan also looked at Lin Feng and left, depressed. People from Yangzhou City also dispersed. They were unable to come back to their senses for a long time after that. There were problems in Yangzhou City, but their king came back and solved all their problems. Lin Feng had assigned 2 Zun cultivators to stay in the imperial palace of Shuiyu, that would be great for Lin Hai and the others. They had to take advantage of that opportunity. Lin Feng would have to leave town soon again and he'd continue becoming even stronger. Brother, you're so strong, said all the girls gathering around Lin Feng. Xiaoya looked extremely excited, she had a huge smile and kept giggling. And you? You're strong too. Brother and sister are both very accomplished, said Lin Feng shrugging and smiling. The Qi Xie soldiers were surprised by his sudden gentle nature, they were glancing at each other, smiling. Unfortunately, General Lu will never see how strong you've become. The Qi Xie soldiers saw Lin Feng grab Lu Fei's hand and thought about their former general. General Lu was missing the best moments of his daughter's life and of his soldiers. "Let's go to the general's headquarters and share some drinks," said someone. The others nodded and walked towards the palace. The remaining crowd also dispersed. After that, Lin Feng played chess with his father, chatted with his mother, went to the Yu clan to see his grandfather, Yu Shan. Yu Shan was extremely happy to hear everything Lin Feng was doing. He was proud to have a grandson who could now kill Zoom cultivators. Lin Feng gave his tear stain to his grandfather. Yu Shan suddenly seemed to have gained back a few years. He could sense vitality flowing through his body again. Since Yu Shan had only broken through to the Xian Qi layer, the vitality water was extremely effective for him. Lin Feng also spent some time with Xian Yi, Lu Fei, and the other girls. He spent some days relaxing. And then, finally, Lin Feng left the imperial palace. Many people accompanied him to the gate. Lin Feng caressed Xian Ye's cheeks, tickled Xiao Ye's nose, smiled and said, "I'm only going to the Yunhai mountain range. With my current speed, it only takes me half an hour to get there. I can come back anytime, so you don't need to accompany me to the gate." Even though Lin Feng said that, everybody was sad to see him leave once again. Was he going to leave for a few years again, like the last time? "I'm off," said Lin Feng. He was happy to have such a great family and such welcoming friends. His gigantic sword appeared, he jumped on it and streaked across the sky. Lin Feng was riding his sword above the clouds. He sighed, even though he wasn't far from Yangzhou city, he might not go back as he wished. Strong cultivators from the Ba Huang province had gathered in the mountain range, so something incredible was probably going to happen. In the past, Lin Feng needed 10 days while riding a horse to go from Yangzhou city to the Yunhai mountain range, but now he only needed half an hour. When he saw the Yunhai mountain range again, he sighed sadly. It didn't look like the Yunhai mountain range anymore, there was only one mountain left. Back when, there were people everywhere inside the Yunhai mountain range and up to the Black Wind mountain. Now, there were only people from the Ba Huang province. What's going on in the Yunhai mountain range, thought Lin Feng. On the ground, many people rose up in the air and blocked him, "You can't go that way. It's a sealed area." "Sealed?" asked Lin Feng. "Which group are you from? Mind your own business, you have nothing to do here, especially given that you're a trivial cultivator of the Tian Qi layer." "Just piss off," said one of them coldly. Lin Feng looked at them coldly and released some terrifying sword qi, dai. Dazzling sword lights appeared as well as thunders and the atmosphere started shaking. "You're Lin Feng," said that person after recognizing his Tianji sword. He punched the air but the Tianji sword continued moving towards him. "Be merciful," said the others moving towards the Tianji sword as well. The space violently shook as they finally managed to block the Tianji sword. CRRR, CRRR, the Tianji sword finally stopped, but continued emitting whistling sounds. "Since you're Lin Feng, the area is, of course, not sealed for you. Please come in," said that person. His facial expression had drastically changed as he moved aside. "Come back," said Lin Feng recalling his Tianji sword. His gigantic sword continued emitting whistling sounds as he moved forwards again. Chapter 1262, The Great Emperor's Historical Remains. Lin Feng landed on a small hill and sat down cross-legged to observe the crowd. The Wen clan. 1,000 meters to his left, someone smiled and nodded at Lin Feng. It was Wen Tiangu. Only the strongest people from Ba Huang province could go there. Lin Feng sensed that someone was looking at him in a cold way. 10,000 meters away, there were people from the Qi clan. Lin Feng noticed a particular young man glaring at him. "Where's my sister?" asked the young man. The lights emerged from his eyes which made the ground shake. He was one of the three heroic young cultivators of the Qi clan, Qi Tiansu, Qi Jiao and Qi Tianxing's big brother. When he was younger, he was also one of the 10 strongest young cultivators of the province. Amongst those three heroes, Qi Tianxing and Qi Tiansu were incredible. Qi Jiao was slightly weaker, but since she was also one of the 4 most beautiful girls from the Ba Huang province, she was also considered one of the 3 heroes. Unfortunately, amongst the 3 heroes of the Qi clan, Qi Tianxing had died and his sister was held captive by Lin Feng. As a big brother, he hated Lin Feng. If Lin Feng didn't have Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword, he would fearlessly attack Lin Feng right now and kill him. "She's alive," said Lin Feng indifferently. Lin Feng had heard of the 3 heroes from the Qi clan, so he knew that Qi Tiansu existed. "I will definitely kill you someday," said Qi Tiansu before turning around. Lin Feng ignored him and sat down again and closed his eyes. There were people from so many powerful groups, all except Tiantai. Tiantai didn't have the same recognition as the other powerful groups yet. Lin Feng also realized that apart from those he had killed already, Qi Tianxing and Bai Qiu Luo, the other 8 strongest young cultivators from Ba Huang were all there as well. After Fortune City, they had all broken through to the Zun Qi layer already. Of course, they still needed to travel around to become stronger. Apart from them, Lin Feng saw many other people he knew, for example, Feng Xian, Shui Bagio, the Thunderbird and others he knew from Fortune City. The Thunderbird looked at Lin Feng, but he looked scared. Lin Feng had changed in Fortune City, so much so that the Thunderbird couldn't offend him anymore. Lin Feng had already defeated Long Teng and Qi Tianxing. As far as the brutal part of Ba Huang was concerned, only Mo Peng the great oriental greenfinch rock from the bestial imperial palace could challenge Lin Feng. But Lin Feng didn't pay attention to him. He opened his eyes, stood up and saw someone flying over to him. Lin Feng smiled and said, "You're here too." "Hee, so many of my friends are here, of course I had to come too," said Yuan Fei smiling. "But, June Mo, she didn't come. I heard something horrible was happening in the Palace of the Immortals. The old emperor is about to die. He's going to die." Lin Feng was astonished. Such incredibly bad news. If an emperor died and there was nobody to replace him, the situation could become dangerous for them. There were no new emperors to replace him in the Palace of the Immortals, but at least the emperor had chosen Jun Mo Shi to replace him. Yes, luckily, all the powerful groups from the Ba Huang province are here in this small country. If nobody had noticed that the Wen clan was paying particular attention to this place, everybody would have waited for the Palace of the Immortals Emperor to die, said Yuan Fei. "What is going on here?" asked Lin Feng. After leaving the Ba Huang province, he didn't know what had since. Some people say that there are some historical remains belonging to the 3 Lives Great Emperor. Back in the antiquity, a great war happened between great emperors, so there could be some great treasures here, explained Yuan Fei to Lin Feng. Some people had revealed it in the Ba Huang province on purpose because they wanted to use the Tian Su teleportation portal. The 3 Lives Great Emperor. Lin Feng was very surprised. He looked at the remaining hills and dunes. Was the strength of the Haruka from the 3 Lives Buddha demon skills a vestige left by the 3 Lives Great Emperor? Was it the 3 Lives Great Emperor who had sealed the Flame Emperor, Yen Di, in that small world? A great war between great emperors, whispered Lin Feng. Yanzhou City was a small town, but had a great war occurred there. If there are historical remains, why don't we look for treasures then? Asked Lin Feng. Everybody's waiting, said Yuan Fei before adding, you can try to dig there, but it's extremely hard. Lin Feng frowned and released sharp sword energies. Slash, a hole appeared but after a dozen meters into the ground, the sword chi stopped as if it had hit something solid. Lin Feng frowned. He hadn't thought that there could be something so hard in the Yunhai mountain range. You're not the only one. Even strong cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer couldn't manage to pierce through it. However, many people are unwilling to do anything, instead preferring to wait for others to do all the work. Lin Feng laughed. Lin Feng couldn't use his secret items in front of so many people, who dared. Some old cultivators are really patient, said Lin Feng smiling. They've been practicing cultivation for over 100 years, of course they're patient. The place won't disappear anytime soon, said Yuan Fei laughing. The old cultivators all had their eyes closed. For them, a few months were akin to a few hours. Lin Feng, said someone else. Lin Feng turned around and saw someone in white clothes, a boy who looked as beautiful as a girl. Lin Feng smiled in a resplendent way. What an incredible feeling to see an old friend. It was a friend he had back when he was studying at the academy, his former disciple, Wen Ao Shui. Long time no see, said Lin Feng. Wen Ao Shui was surprised before saying, I wouldn't have thought that I'd ever see you again. Since you left Shuiyu, you've become famous in Ba Huang. I would have never thought that an old friend of mine was from an imperial clan in Ba Huang, said Lin Feng. Orders from the clan, I can't do anything but obey. I've been in Shuiyu for a few years already, said Wen Ao Shui smiling. They chatted for a few minutes and then Wen Ao Shui went back to his family. Are you not happy? Asked Yuan Fei. Lin Feng shook his head with mixed feelings. Now that he had seen Wen Ao Shui again and knew that he was from the Wen clan, he suddenly understood a lot. Even though he used to be very good friends with Wen Ao Shui in the past, it felt strange to know that he was from the Wen clan. Everybody had hidden motives. Where was he when Yan Yupingsheng had died? Of course, Lin Feng didn't blame Wen Ao Shui, it was just that the situation had changed. People from powerful groups were difficult to make friends with, but Yuan Fei was an exception. Chapter 1263, Demoniac Marks. Yuan Fei, who did you come with? Asked Lin Feng. There were so many powerful groups in Shuiyu and all of them had brought cultivators of the top of the Zun Qi layer. Even the strongest young cultivators from the Ba Huang province hadn't come alone, it was too dangerous. My dad, said Yuan Fei pointing at a big and muscular man. He looked as strong as Yuan Fei. My dad and a few old apes, the middle-aged man looked at them, smiled and nodded at Lin Feng. Lin Feng waved at him. Yuan Fei's father was probably a cultivator at the top of the Zun Qi layer and the people he brought were also probably incredibly strong. Lin Feng, if we really find historical remains, you'll have to be careful. All those people want some treasures. Initially, my family didn't want to come, but I wanted to come and have some fun so they followed me, warned Yuan Fei. Lin Feng was alone so even if someone killed him, who would protect him? I'll hide far away, said Lin Feng jokingly, but he took Yuan Fei's words seriously. Having Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword didn't mean he could do anything he wanted. Hee, look how everybody is practicing cultivation. We should do the same, said Yuan Fei sitting down on a small hill and closing his eyes. Lin Feng closed his eyes too and practiced demonic cultivation and studied his 81 swords, holy marks pattern. Lin Feng could only use 3 types of abstruse energies to create sword skills and techniques so far. He wanted to add a 4th one, but it was too difficult. However, pure abstruse energies alone didn't have such an explosive power when compared to fusing them together. Some time passed and still, nothing happened. At that moment, an older Zun cultivator of the Qi clan suddenly opened his eyes and walked towards the group of the Wen clan and said, the Wen clan have been preparing for so many years, and you even sent people here first using the Tian Su teleportation portal. An older Zun cultivator of the Wen clan also opened his eyes and looked in the direction of the Qi clan site. Back then, in Tiansu town when the images appeared in the sky above the Tiansu teleportation portal, the Qi clan was present. They had seen the historical remains and now they wanted to make things move along faster. You must have the ancient broken space mirror as well, right? Said the older Zun cultivator of the Wen clan, smiling coldly. The older Zun cultivator of the Qi clan coldly stared at him, that bastard. Indeed, he had the ancient broken space mirror. The ancient broken space mirror is a peerless holy weapon. If the emperor doesn't use it himself, with your strength, you still should be able to release half of its power and break that hard earth easily, said the older Zun cultivator from the Wen clan. The older Zun cultivator from the Wen clan is right. Since the Qi clan has brought the ancient broken space mirror, why hide it and make everybody wait, said an older Zun cultivator of the Si Kong clan. If the Qi clan isn't willing to use the ancient broken space mirror, I don't mind pushing them a bit, said a Zun-level beast from the bestial imperial palace. Please do use the ancient broken space mirror, said the Zun cultivator of the Wen clan, smiling devilishly. Since it's that way, why not, said the Zun cultivator from the Qi clan. Everybody was staring at him now. He had no choice but do something. Everybody stood up, they were going to start. The older Zun cultivator from the Qi clan rose up in the air above the area which was impossible to pierce through, and an ancient mirror appeared in his hand. The space around the mirror instantly became distorted. Bzzz, the sky shook violently as the mirror became gigantic. Its reflective side was facing the ground and energies emerged from it. Go, shouted the older Zun cultivator of the Qi clan. An incredible amount of abstruse energies surrounded the mirror and it became golden and dazzling. Slash, slash, there were no explosions, only crackling sounds as a hole appeared in the ground. Nobody knew how deep it was, maybe 100 meters, while the diameter of the hole was a few dozen meters. Bzzz, people rose up in the air and many people looked inside. What was inside? Lin Feng rose up in the air too and looked at the hole. He didn't use his godly awareness to inspect it because the Qi clan's ancient broken space mirror could destroy anything. Putting his godly awareness inside would have been suicidal. It's just pitch black, thought Lin Feng, staring at the hole. Yuan Fei's facial expression looked strange and his eyes looked like fireballs. He was fixedly staring at the hole as some patterns appeared in his eyes. Those are demonic marks. Yuan Fei's fire-red eyes turned dark again. The mirror released terrifying lights once again and another gigantic hole appeared. The older Zun cultivator of the Qi clan frowned. That ground was really hard. He had seemingly managed to make a small dent. Move, shouted the cultivator furiously. The mirror rose up in the air and became even larger while releasing even more energies. Break, shouted the older Zun cultivator of the Qi clan. The hole which was 100 meters deep became even larger. What's that? Tungsten. Demonic marks, the crowd was trying to identify the rock. A block of what seemed to be tungsten was uncovered. It was pitch black but diffused golden lights. There were also some marks on it, black marks, which looked like demonic holy marks. CRRR, 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 the Zun cultivator of the Qi clan continued attacking the ground with his mirror. The hole was becoming wider at quite a fast pace. It was now 10,000 meters wide. What's that? An older Zun cultivator can't even break it with his ancient broken space mirror. Lin Feng looked at the mirror, he was almost scared. It was terrifying to see an older Zun cultivator use a peerless weapon. If even part of those lights touched him, he would die instantly. The older Zun cultivator from the Qi clan stopped and put the ancient broken space mirror away. You saw how terrifying that thing is. Now, should we all go inside together and break that thing? No, really, then many silhouettes jumped down. They didn't need the older Zun cultivator from the Qi clan to tell them, they obviously all wanted to go down and see. Be careful, said Yuan Fei to Lin Feng, and then they both dived into the hole too. Then, 100 meters later, they landed on the hard black substance. Lin Feng struck the demonic marks with sword qi, but it was pointless. He touched them with his hands, it felt like a cold armor. What kind of metal is that? My sword can't even scratch it. And the ancient broken space mirror can't break it either, said Lin Feng looking at Yuan Fei. He was wondering if Yuan Fei had already seen that. But Yuan Fei didn't know either. It's not a metal, it's a seal, shouted someone. Did such a terrifying sealing strength exist? That you're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.